I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's been pretty good since we last filmed. Not a lot going on. The main news that we have is unfortunately, rest in peace, the death of Tom Kane, who you may know as the voice for Yoda in the Clone Wars. And unfortunately, yeah, as I mentioned, he's passed away of a stroke at the age of 64, which is, quite young. And it also means if you're a fan of Call of Duty Zombies, that is also a Takeo or Takio.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
quite
miss
sad.
Takio.
Check. Okay, I was muted for that entire intro part, so we're just gonna keep moving. It's fine. Jeweler, you're fine.
Okay.
Nobody heard what I said, but theorysabers.com, code Evan Prince, whatever. Yes, rest in peace. That is really sad.
Tom Kane,
I
yeah.
apologize about the audio issue.
Yeah.
Gabriel,
It was a good intro. You guys missed out.
Yeah, it was great.
Got
Actually,
a private
that's
show.
You'll never know.
That's probably the best one that's ever gonna happen. So unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
never gonna experience
You can only imagine how good it was.
Yeah, true. You really
Gabriel,
missed
how
out.
you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. You've been chugging away on that X-wing video, right? The breakdown of the X-wing series.
Yeah, which is not too far off completion now, I don't think. Although obviously I'm going to be taken up by university for a little bit now, but after that I'm probably going to be completing it pretty soon.
I'm totally low
Nice.
on volume. What the fuck is going on with my mic today, man? I'll just crank myself up.
Did you see that they released or they revealed the new logo
check.
for Starfighter movie?
No, I didn't see that. Hang on.
No, I did not see that. Oh
I'm
my
pretty
God,
sure I'm
how did I
correct in
miss
saying that. I looked at the article yesterday and I thought it was nothing because, oh, maybe I am incorrect. Because I'm not seeing I googled it and I'm not seeing a logo.
Something
But I'm
making
pretty
stuff
sure. Actually, let's just do an episode where we just make up everything.
Yeah.
Right. So in the news, if you guys didn't notice, they've actually revealed KOTOR. It's coming out December 12th. Pretty hyped for that. As we know, BioWare's making it. They're back on it.
Well,
No, it is actually. I've actually got it from the direct. Star Wars Starfighter movie reveals new logo, but it's literally just Star Wars Starfighter. Like it's nothing. It's if that's a
what we
logo, then
expected,
fair
really.
enough. It's it's not worthy of an article.
that's crazy, dog. Yeah, I don't know. That's silly.
That is. Yeah, if you guys Google it, it is literally just Star Wars with Starfighter bitten in the middle. I don't know why they needed the reveal. Like, oh guys, we got the new logo.
Let's
Great.
design
This
a
has
new
got to be our
logo
best
live on
intro,
stream.
yeah.
You don't have to. Just go look up the logo for Star Wars Starfighter and then type in 2001, and you'll see a much better logo.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah, the OG Starfighter logo was fire.
For example, that one actually has Starfighter as a prominent word in the 2001.
Yeah,
In the new movie, it's Star Wars and then tiny in the middle, Starfighter. That shows how confident they are.
and you guys want to listen to Jeweler about
I
this
might
because
have
he's literally a
seen-
professional graphic designer.
Yeah, it's
Julian,
just.
I
I
might
mean,
have seen what you are
Starfighter's the
talking
brightest.
about.
Which
If
was
I
that? What the
send it
new?
here. It's something from, like in the background of them doing something, and it looks very much like that.
Oh,
Dude,
well, hopefully that is what they go into because currently the one that they publicly revealed sucks.
yeah, I'm
It's
actually
just
now
Star Wars
looking-
with Starfighter
Yeah,
in the
the
middle.
one from the direct article, which is what we have, which is what the article is about, is pretty cool. It basically looks like a patch. That is cool. If that's
Yeah.
what they're going for, I'm really hyped for that because it's got a lot of like 90s aesthetic with
Yeah,
it.
it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it
better than
fits-
that other one.
It fits Gosling.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but just like I can see that working with a
It
movie
kind of,
that
you know what it
fits in.
looks like? It looks very much like Project Hail Mary type stuff. Like,
Maybe
that's
they're
what it
trying to
looks
kind
like
of coincide
they're
that because that
leaning
game
into.
was that movie was
Yeah.
really successful, so they might be trying to piggyback. off
Yeah,
that.
I read
Yeah.
the book as well.
That would also it'd be a big departure from like what we've seen with other Star Wars logos. I mean, other Star Wars logos would be the example of the current in work, like the progress working title logo that is publicly released, where it's just Starfighter written in the middle.
Yeah, I
We
think
should,
it would be
uh,
cool
We
if
should
the
do a
if
tier
the
list
sort
of
of
Star Wars logos sometime.
oh, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Star Wars the original as S tier,
You mean the
and then
OG,
it's only
like,
downhill
big,
from
like,
there. The
fat
OG
Star
just
Wars logo?
Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a good one.
I think
It was, yeah.
I think,
I think
Like
they should
the one
with
from the poster
spin-offs.
where it's like
I
like
like
a
the
pyramid.
idea.
I
I like
feel
the
like
idea of the
that.
spin-offs looking totally different to the main films, you know, rather than just Star Wars and the name in the middle.
Oh, I
think
agree.
if they-
And
if
as
they
well,
if they keep this precedent up, I think that's a good thing.
The way
They
they're
do it
doing
with
the patch
the
as well,
shows.
it is the
Mm.
that Star Wars they're using on that. Well, like what it looks like because it's a Star Wars logo that is like a triangle kind of like that. That is how it like was on the original poster. So if they return into that, that's very
Yeah.
cool. Like the Star Wars 19.
Some sort of
79.
older
Was it
aesthetics.
no?
Pretty
Is it
cool.
79 or 89? God, I'm getting my dates messed up. Yeah,
The
79,
original
wasn't it?
70, 79, because
Yeah, that's
Return of the Jedi
crazy.
was 83.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look like. I mean, it's a very blurry photo that the director are going off here, but it looks like they're bringing back a facsimile of that classic Star Wars logo from 1979.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely
like
better than the announced one that we talked about, but that was announced like over a year ago and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
they probably didn't
when they
have
announced
much
that.
time. They probably had somebody mock it up like real quick right before they showed it off.
That's what it looks like. It looks like
when
they split Star and War and then just wrote something quickly in the middle.
Yeah, I mean that's the easy way of doing a Star Wars logo. Just split Star Wars and just put the name in the middle. It's done for everything.
No, you just do something a Star Wars story for everything.
My favorite Star Wars logos were the way I did the Starcasters logo, actually, because in the period of when the prequels were coming out, the way George did it was he did Star Wars in the top left, then the line on the top and the bottom, and then like a unique logo. And he went back and did that, of course, for the OT with A New Hope and Empire and Return of the Jedi. That was my favorite like design for Star Wars logos, is when they had the line on
That
the bottom
always
and top.
finds that to me that shows a level of like trust that the in like the viewer, you know, they're gonna know this is Star Wars without even needing that little bit in the top left, because that's always so tiny. Like you see the episode 2 logo and you know that's Star Wars even though the Star Wars bit isn't prominent, because nothing else looks like has that look.
You know, and I was thinking about this a while ago. I don't remember how long ago, but I was thinking about how bold of a decision it was to release a movie called Star Wars: Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. That's such an enormous title. That like goes against
The
what's
worst for like
marketable.
Wikipedia. It's just,
Yeah.
everything's massive online.
Yeah, because I was looking at the logo. I was like, man, they had a lot of words they had to stuff into this logo. But George was like, it has to be this.
It does dominate. If you know, on like old cinemas, they would have like the scrolling digital text that goes across. They dominate that for ages. When it's, you know, Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, that's taking up most of it.
I actually have memories of a kid of seeing that for Attack of the Clones on the little digital. I have memories of that in my head, seeing Star Wars: Attack of the Clones scrolling. You just like brought back a recessed memory in my head.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they have those little LCD screens anymore, or LED screens.
I haven't seen one in a really
At least
long
I haven't seen them
time.
in ages. Yeah.
Somebody's talking about
so the second
shadows of
bit,
the Empire logo.
The second bit of news we have is
Kind of
that
what it
I
looks
think it's
like.
actually from today. There was a leaked KOTOR cutscene from the cancelled Aspire version. So you can probably just search KOTOR leaked KOTOR cutscene. I'm sure that'll come up.
Yeah.
It's from today.
I don't think we were.
It's very.
I mean,
it was very
too,
early.
Yeah, we're not too judgmental of really early stuff, but I don't think we were
No.
like, that impressed with what we saw.
Like,
I think
obviously,
I
you're not
wanted
going to bring
say-
up the voice acting because that's clearly just the developer, you know, just doing it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
find it's always endearing when a developer does it, because it's like half and half, that sometimes you'll see it with like it's text to speech, and other times it's the developer.
Yeah,
And I wonder
I love it in
how much they have to resist temptation not to just AI gen test voices, so that they don't say, so that no one's like, you used AI in development. You know what I mean? Because they're probably like, this one's like, dude, we could just AI gen this just for testing. But I know Expedition 33 did that. They AI gened a few things, but none of it made it in the final game. But people were so like pissed off about it that they didn't get like, they weren't nominated for some like indie game award show or something, because it's like they used AI and we don't tolerate that.
I think
It's like,
with this cutscene in particular, it's probably for the best, because if it had voice acting or like AI voice acting from the original like Half and Trask, it would elevate it above what it is. And if you watch this, you think like, this looks bad, and not just like the graphics. Obviously, it's completely like everything's great. Like this is early doors, but it's adding drama where it wasn't needed. It's the opening of the game. It's the tutorial on the ship, and it is just
it's that
it add-
cheesy, cringy fucking the blast doors like open and they almost get sucked out into space, and Trascaster shut it with his foot and just about save the protagonist just at the last moment.
And I hate
it's
as well.
so
like,
embarrassing.
the protagonist says like, "Oh, thanks for saving my life," and Trask is like, "Oh, I'm just doing my job," and I'm like, "Oh, just."
awful.
It had a lot of late stage BioWare on it. I mean, what I mean by that is like Veilguard style, over dramatic, almost like CW. I don't know if the CW shows like Smallville and stuff. It had like that going on. One thing I'll say is I've been pretty positive about some of the Aspire remasters that they've been doing, but the second it was announced that Saber Interactive had come in and taken the project from them, I immediately knew why. I was like, yeah, Aspire does not have the chops currently to make something, not even an original game in general of their own, but especially one of that scale. You know what I mean? Like they botched the re-release of the original KOTOR.
Aspire could do. Oh no, actually they couldn't. No, Aspire, because Aspire has messed up every remaster they've done.
I actually think I would disagree. I think Bounty Hunter and Jedi Power Battles had really solid remasters.
Actually, yeah, Bounty Hunter's a good call. Actually,
yes, I heard good about Jedi Power Battles as well. I heard
they actually made that game.
And I like that you could. Yeah, I like you could switch between the original lightsaber colors and the ones from the films as well. I thought that was a really cool detail.
Yeah, so I give them credit for those two. But
Aspire probably could have pulled off like a remaster then. Like just keeping like the gameplay as it is, just improve the graphics, improve like not necessarily the gameplay, but like the UI and that kind of stuff. I mean, what their releases of KOTOR are semi that anyway, but like just pushing that to the next level, they could have made. That's what I thought they were going for. The fact they were trying to make a game that makes no sense because as we mentioned before, Aspire were mostly a porting company. Like they would port stuff to Mac. That's what they do. You don't jump from doing that to be like, we're just gonna make a game now. I mean, that cutscene, I guess, kind of shows what happens if you try to make that leap.
They have no experience doing something like that, and KOTOR is far too large of a project to do that on. Although, this actually does... it's taken way too long, and it makes me worry that they're trying to bloat it. But this does bring me to an article. I actually made a video about this on my second channel a few days ago. Did you guys catch that article from Casey Hudson talking about the fact that Fate of the Old Republic is not going to be a long game? Where he was saying,
we were talking about that,
I put it in the chat. The interview with the financier, isn't it, of the game?
Yeah,
or one of them at least. Yeah,
that actually made me feel a lot better about the project because one, it makes me feel like it's going to be done faster, and two, it makes me feel like they're going to really hone in on like moral choices affecting the outcome. So it's going to have better replay value because
Then he say like 20, 30 hours max.
Yeah, I resonated with him saying people don't have time to just put 100 hours into a game. I was like, I certainly don't. Yes, give me a tight 25-hour game with really solid like writing and consequences.
Yeah, my favorite example is the original Resident Evil 4 because one of my favorite parts of it is it's not that long of a game. Like it's massive, but it's
for
not
a Resident
that long.
Evil game.
And then it's so good. Yeah, but it's not actually that long of a game. But the thing is that when you finish it, you immediately want to play it again, and that's what I think that hopefully that's what the game will be going for, is that thing of that you won't spend too long in it, but after finishing it, you'll want to play it again and do different stuff. And I mean that's how I felt with Resident Evil 4. You know, I tried so much to do so many things, and I still hadn't done enough. So when I finished it, I wanted to play it again immediately, harder, and do more things. And I feel like some of the best games you'll ever play will be like that.
KOTOR 1 had that for me. When I got the good side end. Well, yeah. When I got the good side ending, I was immediately like, I want to see what the dark side ending is. Like, I had to do it straight away.
Yeah.
I've never played a full dark side run of KOTOR 1. I did it with KOTOR 2 once, and it was kind of difficult. I don't know. Games used to make me feel bad whenever I'd make the bad choice. You know what I mean?
That.
Did you guys have that?
It was easier in KOTOR 1 because it was comical. It felt less real in KOTOR 1 because it was like Looney Tunes villain. KOTOR 2 I struggled because KOTOR 2 it was less that. It was more like just being an evil person.
And then the way that people would react to I've only ever done it the one time, but I do remember I was like, I'm not going to say shocked, but like I felt something when they replace the Sith that stands on the main menu with your character. I was like, ouch, that really reinforced it. It's like, I'm the bad guy for real now. I've never seen a game do something like that where it's like they.
I've had it glitch and show a T4, which kind of was a T3. Kind of breaks the immersion a bit.
But the intention there was actually super cool. I can't. We're always talking about KOTOR 2, but it's that idea that's like brainwashing you almost. It's like whoever's on the main menu is like the bad guy, and then at the end it's like, oh well, it's you. You're actually worse than all of the other ones, but. We should probably talk about Dark Forces 2.
Well, yeah, speaking of a game that has a light side and a dark side ending, That's the one we're covering today, Dark Forces 2.
July, you've always got great transitions.
Is that the first game with a dark side ending?
I thought it was. I remember saying something about that in a video. I couldn't think of one before DF2.
First Star Wars game, I should specify. I'm sure there is some obscure, I
feel like that game kind of introduced that concept of what if you could like be the bad guy and get a bad ending, which was very novel, I feel like.
Yeah, like especially like in how, because does
this is
the
just
force powers you choose dictate it? What is that dictates it? I know killing civilians dictates
droids.
the ending.
Droids affect it as well.
Droids as well. Is it the do with your powers at all? Like which powers you choose?
I looked it up. Whenever I was making my video on it, but it's a lot of like obscure stuff, and it doesn't really tell you that you're doing it either, because you can. It's a lot easier to get the dark side ending. You could just play it. And I think
if you shoot everything, you will get it. I'm pretty sure.
I think killing too many bad guys in general actually will cause you to get.
Oh, I'm surprised by that.
Like if you just kill a bunch.
It can make sense though, because is it Baron's Head in the Fallen City? There are a lot of bad guys in that I feel like didn't deserve to be killed. Like there are people who are fist fighting in the bar, and I know the game must have seen this as a bad thing, because I was like, oh, they're enemies, because I guess I was being racist, but they're the same race as like most of the enemies are. So I was like, oh yeah. So I shot them all, and then the dark side music starts playing. And I'm like, oh, that's the game telling me like, hey, that was maybe not a good do. They were just having a friendly bar fight.
Yeah, it's like they might be aggressive, but you don't have to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Not worthy of killing them. Yeah, that's a pretty cool mechanic that I put in there. They couldn't do it today because people would get pissed at like a dark side ending happening with something they felt like was out of their control. Right, that's why in KOTOR you pick up an item off the floor and it's like dark side points rewarded. Yeah. It's why everyone memes like the karma system in Fallout, but that's why it tells you like when you pick up something, it's like, oh, you lost karma, because if it's in the background and you don't know about it and suddenly something changes, normally annoys people.
I like that a lot more though, because it feels
I much prefer it like that.
It's like you didn't even realize that you were like being seduced by the dark side. I love that. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to Google how you get the dark side ending on that game.
It's a weird ending as well.
Did we all get light side?
I got light side because I was going for it on this playthrough, because dark side ends the game a bit early. You miss like 4 or 5 missions near the end, and also I mean it's not canon, but spoilers to anyone who hasn't played the nearly 25-year-old game. Actually I think it's nearly 30 years old.
It's 28 years old.
Damn, that's
Oh wow.
But spoilers to anyone who's not finished it. Catan basically ends up as the Emperor in this not canon, and it jumps a few steps. Like he he falls to the dark side, and then it jumps forward presumably a few years, and now he's Emperor. So
even if only Palpatine had found he didn't realize, Palpatine didn't know how easy it was.
Yeah, no. If Palpatine just go to dark side on an Emperor in a year.
Even using too many dark side, like even getting dark side powers and using them too frequently.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so
I had that feeling. That's why I didn't pick them, because I was like, I feel like this is going to push me towards a dark side ending.
So I've obviously beaten the game several times, so I've got multiple endings. But I do remember when I was covering it for my video, I got the dark side ending first, and I didn't know what I had done. But it's because I was using so much Force Grip and Force Lightning. I was like, I didn't kill civilians. It's like I was being very conscientious about that. It's like, yeah, but I was lightning everybody and like force choking people. So it was like, oh, so you're just a bad person.
Yeah. Because I mean that's the point, right? Like you're killing baddies, but you're doing it sadistically, and that's still a bad thing.
Well, why are you making the dark side power so cool?
True.
There's something special though compared to this system. I mean, sure, it's subtle, but what is better than Luke going, "You're doing bad things"?
That was Jedi
Are
Academy.
You okay? Yeah. At the end, what's better than that at the end of each level?
Yeah,
and that's pretty good.
Jake, be careful of the dark side, or whatever he would say.
That was what was weird in this game, is that it's never really explained that like you have the Force now. You pick up a lightsaber and they're like, I'm Force sensitive. Let's go. Force powers. Like it doesn't really come from anywhere. Your dad doesn't even be like, oh, I think you could have been a Jedi or anything. Like, nope, it's just as soon as you get the lightsaber, you can start spending points in your Force powers.
This definitely comes from an era of gaming where the developers were significantly more focused on like the game and the game being fun, and then the story was kind of an afterthought. It's like, well, let's give context to why you're doing what you're doing. But if something was like, okay, why is he like this now? It's like, who cares?
That's the weird juxtaposition I noted in that, like, there are times where this game is trying to be more of an immersive storytelling game than was common for this time. I mean, Catan has the thing that people hate nowadays, where he sees like a piece of water and he'd be like, "Oh, can't wait to go for a swim." Like he commentates on everything, like everything gets commentary, and that's such like a trope that people hate nowadays. But I think this is one of the first games that like really used that. And then obviously just the FMV cutscenes. There's like times where there'll be a level after like Catan's homestead. You're this massive aqueduct system. Doesn't make sense in world building. Like, why are there so many aqueducts like going all over the place? Like, it's just a cool platforming segment. But in the next level, like you're in the Baron's Head Fallen City, and that looks like a city. So it's kind of like this weird juxtaposition of like, oh, we want to be a cool 90s FPS game, but now we're trying to also be like a little bit more realistic than was common for the time. It is really, it's like it's on that cusp of like switching over into the early 2000s, where I think that really became more the common way of approaching it.
I think there was a bit of a struggle. I think between trying. I think they wanted to try tell a more of a story and try be a bit more cinematic, but then in the development
while also being a game.
There was still So that's why I think it's weird going from gameplay where there's like no story and then boom cutscene and it's like you're watching a film and then suddenly game and there's no story. Like it's a bit
back then that was
on and off.
That was
it was. That's the thing.
You'd really tell that they're learning how to do it. This is with the discovery phase of making those kind of games.
Interestingly, because you brought up the fact that Kyle talks a lot, I think they were doing that because that's what. So the thing about like Dark Forces and Dark Forces 2 is LucasArts was trying to do with Star Wars what they saw other shooters doing. So I think Dark Forces
they saw Duke Nukem and they were like sick.
And Blood, Duke Nukem, Blood, Shadow Warrior. There was a horde of 90s shooters that were coming out, and they featured these like quippy protagonists who every 5 minutes they'd be saying something. So they thought, okay, well, we want that for Star Wars. So I think that's where that part came from. It's kind of gone in and out of fame.
Favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment, I think it's one of those hated things. You see a lot of videos, like because I saw a good one with Legend of Ocarina of Time.
I've seen
like
it.
If Ocarina of Time was a modding game.
Shut
the Mario one.
Yeah, and then I went and played this, and I'm like, this came out like the same year, I think 1 year after Ocarina of Time, and it was doing it. So it's not even like the games weren't doing it at that time.
I think it was less obnoxious though back then than it was. And I tell this to a lot of people. It's not.
Can you imagine if you had I forgot the female's name. Jada? No, not Jada. What's
Jan
the
Oz?
Jan Oz, yeah. I like imagine if you had Jan calling you up like all the time.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it would be like.
Kyle, you have to make your way through the aqueducts. Be careful, Kyle. That'll turn you to the dark side. Kyle, have you? So that's I made this post on Twitter the other day because somebody was like, "Oh, you claim you don't like story games, but these are story games that everybody loves." And I wrote something that's like, people don't have a problem with story games; they have a problem with the writing. So I think a big part of the problem with like it is too much. They do talk too much, but there is like this almost like condescending flair to the player in a lot of modern writing, where it's not that they won't stop talking, but it's like they're talking in such a way where it's assuming you're an idiot, whereas a lot of the talking in these older games is trying to be like a little bit charming, you know what I mean? So Kyle will say some stuff, but like the swim example you give, I distinctly remember he says time for a swim after you've already jumped. So he doesn't say that to let the player know he should jump. He says he says that to be fun for the player to try to give him characterization. A modern game, Kyle would have said something like, maybe I can progress if I jump into that water down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
it's different. He's not revealing anything. There were times when he would reveal stuff, but it was because it was going to happen. So I think after Catan's homestead, like in that aqueduct level, when you slash the grate, to fall through the floor, he says like, "Oh, I've got to make my way through the aqueducts." But like that's going to happen because you walk forward and you see the aqueducts. So it's not like that. Yeah, it's like you said, it's not as obnoxious being like it would be as if the level started and it'd be like, I wonder if there's a grate somewhere I can cut open with my lightsaber.
Yeah,
that would be like
that would be more modern. Although I will say there is one level where I found myself wishing the game would just tell me what the fuck to do.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, there were 2 or 3 I needed a guide for this one. This is harder than Dark Forces 1.
There was quite.
Yeah.
I'm just really
sure.
bad at this type of like level design and this type of game. I had to look up what to do probably like most of the second half of the game at some point in each level. I would be playing a level fine, and then somewhere during the last like 3 minutes, I would have to look up what to do because I would just get
rough.
absolutely. Yeah,
They really were leaning into like the cryptic level design on this one.
Yeah, and it would be the sort of thing where you wouldn't know you had to do something just looking at it. Like I found so many. After a while, you get used to what like buttons are, but the stuff that you can smash or like you destroy with your lightsaber doesn't always look the same. So you get used to looking for a certain type of vent or something like that. And then suddenly you'll be confused as to where to go. And it turns out you have to cut something that I would have never thought that I would ever have to cut. And it doesn't give you any direction.
Did we all play it with the remastered mod?
I've played it both. I've played it both ways multiple times.
I think the remastered mod, I've played it both times, but it's been a long time. With the remastered mod, there was certainly, because they've upscaled the textures and like a whole lot of work's gone into that, there were certain textures that looked like they should have been interactable that weren't. And I can't remember if they were there in the original graphics. There were a lot of
the
fake.
Anytime you went into a room, there was like loads of technology.
Yeah.
Anytime there was like loads of technology and computers and stuff like that, all of them looked. They were like
all the buttons look like you shouldn't be from the ones you can press.
So I would go into each room and just tap E on every single one and just think, will this do something?
Because in Dark Forces
that's not an issue with the game.
It was much more obvious which was the button you have to press. Like if you walk into a room like that.
Yeah,
in this game, not so much.
It's also worth mentioning. I made this point when I did my videos on Mysteries of the Sith because the thing we're talking about was way worse in that expansion. So I hate looking things up. I don't like when I have to do it, but I do have to.
Yeah, you feel like a failure.
With Dark Forces 2, I only had to do that one time with one level. Now, I would spend an extra 10 minutes in some levels, but it's because I would refuse to look it up. Mysteries of the Sith, I had to look it up. I had to look stuff up like 6 or 7 times because I'm like, I can't figure out what to do. And I think that there was kind of in their back of their heads, they wanted people to like buy strategy guides maybe.
Yeah, that's the big thing about from back then. A lot of times they were official, like they wrote the strategy guides themselves because it would just be like the design document essentially of like the level, and then they'll sell it to you. That was a big business back then.
So many games.
XZ Jedi Knight, the one we're talking about does not use the id Tech, the Quake 3 engine. You're thinking of Jedi Outcast, which does, but this game was made on an in-house.
Is it the Jedi engine or the Sith engine?
Dark Forces was Jedi. One. So this was made on proprietary LucasArts software.
It was really progressive for the time in terms of like the engine. Like I would say it was on par with Quake 1 and 2. And Quake 2 came out the same year.
Yeah, Quake. What year did
I think Quake 2 was
96?
Jedi Knight.
No, Quake 1
was
96.
I thought it was 97.
Quake 1 was 96. I think.
Yeah, Quake 1's 96.
Yeah, Quake 2 must have been 97.
Quake 2 is 97.
And then one.
This is 97. So the same year.
Yeah. So the fact that they managed to make something in-house that plays like
comparable to Quake 2 without using Quake 2 as a reference.
That's really
good.
I don't actually know another developer that did that.
No, I mean I'm covering at the moment a 90s game that came out the same year, 1997, and it is maybe comparable to Quake 1, but even then, not really.
And honestly,
so for them to do this themselves is pretty cool.
I think I would even say that Jedi Knight 2 Dark Forces 2 does some things that are more impressive than we saw in Quake 2, because I'm pretty familiar with. I've done videos on both of them, and Quake 2 has some really impressive like technological achievements, but there's some enormous levels in Dark Forces 2 that are showing off like a lot of geometry and a lot of. It's really impressive what they pulled off. And
yeah,
even, like,
massive open areas with no fog. That's like very impressive. Yeah, I pulled off a lot of things. I think the lighting was very good. I mean, the lighting in Quake was also very good. The same thing, like the lasers light up the surroundings, the lightsaber lights up your surroundings, like all that kind of stuff is very good.
Yeah, I think games when they didn't have like ray tracing and like when lighting wasn't just done for them already. I
mean, yeah, real time lighting was a selling point. That would I guarantee it's probably on the box for this game, being like real time lighting.
Yeah, the lighting.
It was a different era
when it wasn't so easy. Yeah. When lighting wasn't so easy, I think it looked so much better. And I also, just as a personal preference, I like a lot of older games that didn't look. I feel like we have gotten to a point where graphics look so good and so realistic that developers just rely on it looking realistic and don't think about making it look good.
Art
And there are
style's gone
games
now
that look,
because you just go for
yeah,
realism.
there are games. Like, I honestly like the first Half-Life is so blocky, but looks so much better than so many realistic games because it has an art style. And this game is similar, where it has an art style, so it looks good despite it being quite, like I said, blocky. It's an older game, but it has a style to it, and
It's
I much
very,
prefer that.
as with Dark Forces 1, I think we said, it's very OT Star Wars. Like, it fits that aesthetic, like, very well. This is, like, pre-prequels, and you get that feel. Like, there's a big schism that happens in the games when the prequels come out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a sucker for this era. I love this between original trilogy and prequel trilogy era of
I call it the
stuff
special edition era.
Yeah, it's when they didn't really know as much about Star Wars and the universe, and that they sort of just had to come up with their own stuff. And it's really interesting. Like, one of my favorite things I think we've talked about before, which we should maybe do like an episode on at some point. I think we've discussed this, is like lightsabers and how different lightsabers were, and that's apparent in this game. How it's like everyone, and they're all different, and they all use them differently. And I love stuff like that. I think it's really interesting. I like to see other people's vision of Star Wars before it got bigger, which then made it more constrained for those people. And I also like it because I love the books in this era, and being set like after Return of the Jedi, it fits right in with all those books that I love. It just feels like it's part of that period.
The 90s had some of the coolest, like even like I'm a sucker for prequels, and I love most of the stuff we were getting like during the prequel era, but the 90s had some of the coolest, I would say, like expanded universe content coming out during, because the special edition was coming out, and to like push the special edition, they did Shadows of the Empire, they did like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, which TIE Fighter of course had like Thrawn, and it connected into like that era of the Thrawn stuff, and then you had like Jedi Knight, and dude, that special edition era of Star Wars had some of the coolest Star Wars world building. It was before the prequels even hit. And
I mean, there's some stuff that unfortunately got thrown out, but I really like. Stackpole's sort of, he gives them hints of that in I, Jedi of what like the Jedi were like in the prequel era before the prequels. And there's all these different Force religions, and there's different types of Jedi. Like there's Corellian Jedi that are different to, Jedi like Obi-Wan and Yoda. And I like the prequels, and I like what George did with the world building. But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate this different vision and different idea of what it was going to be like, which I still find really cool.
Yeah, you can tell in the games whenever the prequels came out, because in Jedi Academy in particular, like Zam Wessel's speeder is like part of the level design. Like you jump across the thing on Coruscant, and Sam Wessel's speeder from episode 2 is just there. I'm like, all right, what's the point of this?
It's been left there the whole time, all those years.
They were clearly like watching the movies, being like, all right, write that down. Let's do something with that. Trying to connect into the prequels more. But you don't see that with like when you look at Jedi Knight or Dark Forces, like their use of Nar Shaddaa looks different. It's very similar, but I feel like it looks different than like KOTOR 2's Nar Shaddaa,
Yeah, or even Jedi Outcast Nar Shaddaa.
Oh yeah, that's
Jedi Outcasts looks. I mean, as a kid, I just thought it was Coruscant because I didn't know there was any difference between them. It just looks like Coruscant from the prequels.
It does. It's just straight up Coruscant.
Yeah. Whereas in this, it's a lot more. It has that more dystopian feel that Nar Shaddaa is meant to have. It's much darker, much grimier, grittier. I feel like KOTOR 2 still really kept some of that going.
I think Jedi Outcast probably has the worst depiction, I would say.
Yeah.
Nar Shaddaa. KOTOR 2 might be my favorite. It's weird that Nar Shaddaa is such a game-specific planet too. Like you
it is. It comes up so often in games and never anywhere else.
I remember when
it is Coruscant at home. It's when you want something on Coruscant, but Coruscant's too grand of a location to put your little game on.
Well, it's
so
such a
you
cool,
lose Nar Shaddaa
because Nar Shaddaa, it's a moon. It's a moon for Nal Hutta.
Yeah.
And it's like directly under the Hutt's control. It's supposed to be like way shadier and grimier than Coruscant. Because whenever they were doing the sequel trilogy, one of the things I thought, because I was naive and dumb, was, they're probably going to use Nar Shaddaa because it's such a popular planet. It's got so much potential for so much like dark and like interesting things with like the Hutts and all these. I was stupid to think nobody working on
You're lucky they didn't blow it up in the first one. Force Awakens.
That's true.
Yeah.
I should have known they wouldn't. If I asked like J.J. Abrams, I'm like, so are you going to use Nar Shaddaa? He'd be like, the hell is a Nar Shaddaa? What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. But I remember at one point I thought, oh, they're definitely going to use Nar Shaddaa because it's such a cool planet. They didn't.
If only.
Yeah.
If they had, it would have been an offhand like fanfare thing, fan service, jingle some keys. It's like, oh, remember Nar Shaddaa? But it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You would have had to wait till Rise of Skywalker for that, because that's when they got desperate.
Yeah, it would get mentioned in a book like that ties into the movie, but
I was surprised it didn't like bring back like the Bastila voice actor to have her talk to say Rey at the end, so they could start running the articles, being like, "Look, we care about all the old games. We got
Jen
them
Taylor?
all." I think so. Yeah.
It's Jen Taylor that did Bastila. I'm pretty sure.
Is it? Oh my, really?
I thought so. When I think about Bastila speaking, my head, I hear Jen Taylor, and she was doing other Star Wars games at the time, like
No,
Jedi
it's
Academy.
apparently it's Jennifer Hale.
Jennifer Hale. Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of. I said Jen Taylor because I've been watching a bunch of Halo content. but
Femshep.
it was Jennifer
Who
Hale.
played Mass Effect.
That's who I was thinking of in my head, but I got the name wrong. My apologies to Jennifer Hale. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about
BioWare veteran right there.
Yeah, she was in Jedi Academy. She did female Jaden in Jedi Academy, and she did a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Well, should we get on to the FMV then? That's one of the more talked about things of this game, because it was an era that lasted about 2 years, and this game falls into it. I think it's actually some of the stuff that has aged both the worst and the best, because, I mean, the worst because it looks like a fan film. You can't get away from like the filming, the acting, the CGI. You know, it actually looks worse than fan. It's very impressive for the time, but it does look worse than a fan film you get today. But also was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But that's also the thing that's aged the best, because you don't get that, and no other game gives you a mini Star Wars film.
Rebel Assault 2.
You can't. Well, Rebel Assault 2 was a Star Wars film with a game tacked onto it.
It was kind of like the other side of the coin. It's like, this is just a movie where you have some minor interaction.
This, you buy a game and you get a free movie. That you bought a movie and there was some gameplay with it.
Yeah, that's true. I always thought that the extreme overacting was one of the most charming aspects of it. Shout out Jason Court. I think he was probably the best performer. But like Jarek, I don't remember who acted for Jarek, but like that was one of my favorite parts playing this as a kid, was just Jarek's like accentuation of certain words.
Jarek is perfect for, I mean, like you said, for a villain aimed at kids. Like, he plays it up. I don't know if you know what pantomime is in America, but like he's very much like a pantomime villain. It's essentially like theater that's made for children.
Oh,
like,
I see.
That's how he fits perfectly into that.
My brother and I, we all the time, we would just like randomly scream Morgan Katarn and that like loud ass, because you can barely tell what he's saying when he goes Morgan Katarn at the start of the game.
Yeah.
I found that when I was having the most fun in this game, it was watching those cutscenes. I think that they were the best part for me. I just think they were so fun. It almost stands up well now, just out of like enjoyment. In that, I feel like you have that awareness of the budget and and the time, and it almost makes me appreciate it even more than I might have said back then. Actually,
I also like the idea that George saw that CGI and be like, "We could do the prequels. Let's go. It's ready."
I think it was the other way around. I'm pretty sure what happened is they had been doing the CGI for the special edition, because you have that type of CGI, that style of CGI is in a bunch of those old LucasArts games. I think that they were like calling in like favors with like ILM or something. And getting like really low budget versions of the technology that they were using in the special edition CGI, and then that would go on to be like prequel CGI. So I think that was just kind of cycling through, because you had similar. It was really only in the LucasArts Star Wars games that you saw that style of like blocky CGI, because it was in Jedi Power Battles. It was in the Phantom Menace PC game and PlayStation game. It was in Shadows of the Empire for its cutscenes, like that style. And I think that's how they were getting that. It was the team that was doing all of the Star Wars SFX at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, it's very smooth and shiny. That's the only thing that tears it down. Like you just got to put a dirt filter and all the textures, and it would instantly elevate it to Star Wars. That's the main problem with them. The actual blue screen and all that kind of stuff is really well done. Like you can't see it. I say you can't see any of the lines, and that's because it's about 240 pixels across, so you would never be able to see them anyway.
Never.
I'm honestly shocked we haven't gotten like a high quality AI upscale of these cutscenes yet. I think I saw a version.
There
of
is.
It, but
yeah, there is. I sent one. It's like, it could only do so much. Like it has to perform magic because it's such a low res video.
Yeah, but modern AI actually can, like, it just fills it in with generation to make it look better. But
yeah.
Like, there's some like AI upscale cutscenes that it makes them look worse. Like the KOTOR AI, those are unwatchable, dude. Those are actually
they're terrible.
Oh, there's been a new one done that I tried out that looks incredible. Only very recently. But it's just a thing, AI upscaling can do it, wonders. But there's a point when something is so low quality that you just can't make something out of it. Like you can't. It's AI upscaling. The reason it's good is it tries to add more detail to what's there. It tries to bring the detail out of the image.
Detail in the
but
first place.
if there's no detail, it's not going to add anything to it. Which I prefer. I think when it adds something to it, it looks wrong to me, and you're losing, what the original image was.
The one I linked in the chat like a few weeks ago when we were first talking about Dark Forces 2, that one has like anything that's center in the frame looks okay. Like Cal Katarn, if you center frame, looks great. But anything in the background, like there's one where it's Jan Ors is small in the background. She must be maybe 4 pixels in the actual video, so she just looks like an absolute mutant on the AI upscale. But like that's all it's working with, right? It knows like that's a person. I gotta guess what the face looks like now. So
yeah,
there's only so much they can do.
That's true.
But honestly, I like that charm of the. I would always take the charm of the pixelated look over like someone putting in an AI upscale in there.
Until it can
do we
work
know what
they
Do we know what they like shot it on? Like, do we have any idea like how they filmed it?
I would have to assume it was film. This was before digital was like good enough to hit that quality. So it's probably film and then using like similar CGI techniques to, like you said, they would have been doing with the special editions.
Yeah, because I wonder then if there'd be any high quality copies out there. Probably not, because what would often happen, we had this. This is relevant to both Star Wars and Doctor Who, where when something was shot on film in like the 90s, when digital technology was just it was on the cusp of taking over, and they would have to then digitize it and then do the CGI.
Yeah.
And that often meant, for example, like if you get the 4K Blu-ray of The Phantom Menace, you are not watching a 4K film, you are watching a HD film upscaled.
That's
to
upscaled,
4K.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's this Doctor Who has had the same issue with the 90s TV movie. But what they've done is they've actually went back to the original camera negative and they have scanned it in 4K and then done the CGI over it to bring it back in 4K. And I feel like if they haven't done that for the Phantom Menace, there's no chance they're doing that for Dark Forces 2.
Because they're not a film studio. I don't think LucasArts would have been that careful to preserve any film reels that they did have. And as you said, they would have digitized it and then they would have been editing it digitally, because this is around the time that you got the non-sequential editing softwares.
Yeah, it'll probably exist in the digitized form somewhere, because I don't know. I think they
there's probably a slightly higher res version of
but
the
still be
film.
It'll still be very low quality. Like I can't imagine it being much higher quality than what we got, except it might not be as compressed.
Yeah, they had to do a lot of compression to fit this back on CDs back in the day.
I think I could be making this up, I don't know, but I think there was at one point like something akin to a literal vault, but it was kind of just a giant room at Skywalker Ranch that just had a bunch of like films and stuff like that.
Yeah, I reckon they would. Yeah,
it's possible that it's at like George might have it at Skywalker Ranch along with a ton of other stuff after LucasArts was gone.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I know he said. I know obviously George famously said that he wanted to get rid of every copy of the original trilogy in its original format, but it's total. They lied for a long time saying they didn't have it, because they have it. Of course they do.
Yeah,
that's how they're making the current remasters.
It's also going to come out. Disney's going to air that thing for the 50th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
The original,
obviously,
unaltered Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
obviously it was a total lie that they got rid of it. But,
yeah.
I reckon they keep a lot of stuff. They might have something, but like I said, I reckon they might have the original, digitized versions. But I'd be surprised if they kept that, just because I don't think they would have viewed it as that important, or that anybody would want to see it in higher quality. And that sort of mentality has lost so many things over the years.
A bit of a diversion here, but how does Skywalker Ranch even work? Because I was reading up about it like the other day, and it has like multiple restaurants on site and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's a house and it's also an office space, and it's also like I don't understand like how
is it
it was
still going though? Like, does Disney?
I
realize?
doubt it. I doubt it's like, well, because it was for a period. It was
I think
George's
it
home.
is.
So is it still his home? Like, it surely cannot
it's
be.
It's still going and still going in Star Wars, because the High Republic authors all went there to when
so
they
there's
were
still
okay.
Maybe it was part of the deal.
Yeah.
Maybe George moved and gave.
I was gonna
Skywalker
say
Ranch
it'd be
to
so
Disney.
weird
Yeah.
if George is still living there, and then it's
And
like
it's
he walks
still
next door
quite,
and it's Disney Star Wars working on the film. Like,
from what I
working on
know,
they're
it's
working
still
on.
quite a leisurely place, because, like I said, with the High Republic authors, they were all shown like the first 4K copy of The Empire Strikes Back or something like that before it was released. So it's still a thing going on. I always think of I don't know if you've seen this really awkward, weird like documentary they did with Jen Taylor for Halo, where she goes and like meets like fans of Halo of all different kinds, and it's like one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. It's so cheesy. But she goes to Skywalker Ranch, and all LucasArts people that are working on games are there. And in their spare time, they are all playing Halo together on different, setups. They're all in a
That's pretty
massive LAN, playing Halo.
Yeah.
And she goes to visit them to talk about Halo. So obviously they were have a good time there, and I reckon they probably still do.
That's such classic like game dev stories. Like in Diablo, they were playing NHL 96, I think, like just all the time. Like they just weren't they weren't working on Diablo. They were like, I can't be bothered. Let's play NHL.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing my video on Jak 2. Jak 2 came as a result of the Naughty Dog devs playing a bunch of GTA 3 during like the development of Jak and Daxter, the first Jak and Daxter. A lot of these old game devs just play a lot of games.
Yeah.
That was the good old days.
So I guess going back to like what we're saying on FMV, I mean, I'm not the first person to bring it up, obviously, but it is very humorous that Mark Hamill was literally making FMV games at this time, and we missed out on a potential of having Mark Hamill in a Star Wars FMV game.
Yeah, that is kind of odd. I think that might have come from restrictions from George, though.
Yeah,
he had a lot
because that would have ate into his sequel ideas, right?
Yeah, well, he became more lenient because, of course, Luke appears in Outcast and Academy. But I think what happened was George had a bunch. But
it's also
rules
not
in the
Mark.
90s.
Like I don't know if it's a specific thing. Like, oh, it can't be Mark Hamill, because that would have generated that would have been
probably,
all over the
I reckon
tabloids.
it was just
if Mark Hamill came back to
difficult.
do Dark Forces 2. That is like newspaper news. One of the original Star Wars actors is coming back to be on film.
I reckon they probably just didn't put enough of it in to get Mark Hamill. I mean, look at what the FMVs look like. I'm not really surprised that they're not.
But he did Wing Commander, and I don't know if you've seen those. I mean, Wing Commander, the budget was probably higher than this game. I will say it looks a bit better, but like Wing Commander's not amazing in terms of quality. It's not film level, So
I just reckon it's one
Hamill
of those.
Didn't seem
it's probably one of those.
It's
probably one of those things where they didn't even ask. There's a lot of cases where
they might
actors say, "Oh, I would have done that," but
they probably hadn't thought to use Luke at this point.
Well, Luke did.
It's Hayden Christensen in the Clone Wars. They asked him, would he have played Anakin, and he said they didn't ask. Then he would have played him in that cartoon, but they never asked him.
Yeah, they might have just assumed they couldn't afford him, so they didn't bother asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Also,
when the Clone Wars started, that was probably true because his career he hadn't retired at that point.
That might have been the case. But I mean, he also, he came in and he did motion capture for the Revenge of the Sith game. But he didn't do his voicing though. And Mark Hamill also came back. I want to say in 1999 and did voice as Luke for an advertisement for the first New Jedi Order book.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
that's cool.
It's such a strange advert. I like it, but it's so weird.
So Hamill
'Cause
was
it's just
still coming back as Luke.
it's just yeah, it's just clips from the movies as he says like, "Oh, a great threat is coming,"
threat
blah
is
blah blah,
coming. Yeah.
and then like the new Jedi Order.
I wonder how expensive that was because they should have just kept doing that. They should have just kept bringing.
Oh, it must have been cheap because he did it over the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's you can hear that it's
They
over
didn't
the
even
phone
invite.
when
They
you're
didn't
saying
even get him in.
yeah.
But like Hamill,
yeah.
I don't think was super expensive because like he was doing like cartoons at this point, right? I'm not saying that
Joker,
the
yeah.
cartoons weren't paying a lot, but I don't think they were paying Star Wars money. So
Yeah,
I
they
think
obviously.
it would have been
I reckon
open
there
to-
must have been. I reckon it was one of those things where he would have done it, but they just didn't ask, and they probably
Yeah.
just thought he wouldn't want to, or that they couldn't afford him. I mean,
with this
it's
game,
a
they
shame-
probably didn't think to use Luke. I just don't think it was part of the story. Like the idea of Jedi outcasts and having like the new Jedi Order and all that kind of stuff involved was
interesting
just
comment.
not there.
So Michael says Mark literally worked with LucasArts on Full Throttle though, so they knew him. So LucasArts did get Mark in.
Yeah, I think it's just
I
a
have
case
no
that
idea.
they just didn't have a use for Luke in this story then.
But he
'Cause, like, now
Luke is in the novella of Dark Forces 2 though. He's at the end.
Oh,
he's at a
bizarre.
he's in a
But
space
the
battle at the
but
end.
the
of
novella
battle.
wasn't because the novella that's the same writer as who did the first one, right? The one I read for the last.
Dietz, yeah.
Yeah,
But both of
he
those
probably- but
were done
he's
alongside
probably
the game.
not.
And Luke is
But he's
in
probably
those.
only following like no, as in LucasArts, the writers themselves might have not wanted to use Luke, but then Dietz was like, "Oh, I'll put Luke in."
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
it's-
I will
yeah.
say.
I always
that
thought that
point
was
in
funny because
the
in order for Outcast to make sense with the fact that Kyle knew Luke, you have to have read that novella and understand
Yeah,
that Luke
not
was,
played the game.
Luke was involved in the it doesn't even make sense because Luke was at the Valley of the Jedi. He was just in a space battle, and in Jedi Outcast, he doesn't know where the Valley of the Jedi is. So none of it makes any sense. It's not. There's some continuity issues going on here.
yeah, I would just think at this point, right? It's after Return of the Jedi. I had a little look on the timeline, and the next appearance with Luke after this is in the same year in a novel where he's in Shadows of Mindor and he's a general. So the way I would imagine is that he's probably at war at the minute, still with the Empire, because it's just after Return of the Jedi. That's how I would like headcanon it. He's probably fighting at that time.
Yeah,
And that's probably why he's not went to find him.
you would have to just disregard the canonicity of the Jedi Knight novellas because Luke is in
Yeah.
them. you have
Yeah.
to just disregard them as canon. R.I.P. Dietz, but we should have gotten a Luke FMV though, because now we just have weird,
Yeah.
strange, uncanny valley de-aged Mark Hamill's face put on another actor who already looks like Luke. In Book
Yeah,
of
it would have been
Boba Fett.
very cool to have that 90s era Luke actually playing a new Jedi Order era Luke.
Yeah, giant missed opportunity. On
Well,
that
it's only like a year after Return of the Jedi or something like that. It's
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
that would have been the issue, is that they would have been disconnected. Like, he looks too old.
I don't think because I saw an interview with Mark Hamill in the late '90s, and he still looked pretty young. Like I think they could have probably just slapped a little bit of
Okay,
makeup on
it
him.
was
He could have pulled it off.
probably, yeah, it must have been the mid 2000s because I know he gained a lot of weight. Or was
I
that
think
in
that
the?
was-
That must have been in the 2000s.
I think that was in the mid 2000s when that happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I think that probably would have
Because-
obviously been an issue, and I doubt he was going to lose the weight for 10 seconds in a Star Wars FMV.
Which one of you, Julia, was it you? One of you sent in an old interview where Mark actually holds the Dark Empire comic, and he's like being interviewed about the.
That was
comic books
Gabe.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in that interview, he talks
Yeah.
about. I think that was like in the late '90s from that interview because he's talking about Dark. He looked still.
Yeah,
kinda like
that's
Luke.
right. He doesn't look that bad. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. They could have totally got him in.
I don't know why they didn't, but maybe
Yeah.
we'll get some Luke in the next year because there's all these rumors that Luke is going to be in Ahsoka or Luke is they're doing an animated Clone Wars style
Tales.
Luke series. Yeah, so maybe we'll still get some.
Is
Luke.
it gonna be Mark Hamill Luke or Uncanny Dark de-aged Luke?
I think. I obviously there's nothing confirmed, but I think that the rumor is that they're just going all in on recasting. Like they also Mark Hamill has said
Okay, well,
Mark Hamill has said he's not going to do any more Luke.
he's done.
He's already said
I think recasting's the way to go.
So they couldn't get him in for more like he did that Book of Boba Fett, and he said he's not doing it again. So they're gonna have to recast.
Yeah, I think they should recast them, especially for the when they're doing animated stuff. I feel like it's weird. A lot of Star Wars fans, I reckon, are put off by the idea of recasts more than others. But I come from, again, I'll probably be bringing it up occasionally with Doctor Who, the audio stuff that they do. They have characters that have been dead for years, and what they do is they just recast every single one of them. And there are so many recasts that they have done, and they have finely tuned by picking people that can impersonate them perfectly and also act. And you would think, it must be difficult, but they've got somebody for almost every character who's passed away over a 60-year show. I feel like Star Wars, especially when it's on cartoon, could get people to play these characters really well. And I'm sure the guy that we had as Luke that they put AI over,
he already looked like
so
Luke.
Good. Yeah, he looked so good.
And his acting,
he doesn't need to sound
fine.
Exactly like him.
Because we're getting his acting in the Book of Boba Fett.
In the deepfake, yeah.
Yeah, that's still him. He's fine. He could literally just do it. That's what they should do. I've never really been all that opposed to recasting if it makes sense. So I think what happened was Solo bombed so hard that they said clearly no recasting, because they recasted Han and I thought he did a fine job. They recasted Lando. I thought he did well.
I like that Han and I like that Lando too.
I actually like that movie. Yeah. It's one of the few Disney things where I'm
I like that film.
I'm fine with Solo, but it always bugs me because I'm like, the reason people didn't watch Solo is because The Last Jedi was bad, not because Solo was bad. There's nothing wrong with Solo. It's a fine movie. But I think recasting's the way to go. And
they'd lost goodwill at that point. The Force Awakens was boring, and then The Last Jedi was bad. So you're not raving to go see Solo because you're like, I've been burnt twice. I'm gonna hold off.
What's that guy's name? Aldrin, I think, who played Han.
Oh yeah, I can't remember.
So we've got a live action Han already.
We've got Han.
He could still come back and be Han. If they just use the guy.
I mean, when you think about it. That's what is it? That 2 actors to get? 2 actors. Luke, and we've already got a pretty good Luke there.
We just need to get
Get
a Leia.
a Leia.
Yeah, because anyone. Enhenrich? It's like a German name. Alden German last name. Sorry to all Germans.
I liked his performance as Han. It was different than Harrison Ford, but I would be completely fine with him coming back as Han again. I also would be completely fine with them just using the guy they got for Luke. I don't know who they would do for Leia. I've heard some people say they wanted to use Carrie Fisher's daughter, who portrayed Leia in. I think she was the deep fake Leia in Episode 9, and I think she played a role in Last Jedi. I'm pretty sure, which I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah, I reckon as well. I think when people think about recasting. Or even just casting in general, people get so big on fan casts and try to get an actor for to play someone. And I know obviously Star Wars has the money to go big, but sometimes you get the best roles or the best actors by just getting random people.
An obscure, an obscure
you can,
new actor.
If you are willing to go through the time and try out people that are unpopular, and
especially if you want to do a
you could
Luke
find
series,
the perfect layer out there.
You're better off getting someone cheap that won't have conflicts. Yeah, you don't want someone who's going to have schedule conflicts. You can't do the next series.
Yeah. Well, this is a problem.
His agent
all the
says
time.
"Oh, it's not working out for you."
Yeah, it happened again. It happened in Doctor Who. They cast Ncuti Gatwa, and he was too big for the role because he was already famous. He was already famous, and then they had loads of production problems. So he left because he's got a career and he doesn't want to, drop his career for a show that's failing. Which of course he doesn't. That's why it's best to cast someone, that.
But then you do have the opposite of what happened to the sequel trilogy guys, where all of them by the time you get to the last film, it seems like they all hate it. Like when you want the red carpet interviews, and they're all like, "Yep, it's a film I'm in."
Yeah, the way to avoid that is just make good films. Because I mean, look at the prequels and the original trilogy. For the prequels, there's a few well-known actors in there, but I don't think George was going off stopping at every door trying to get every famous actor. He just cast who he thought.
No, they were all there were obviously few like Christopher Duke. I'm so bad with names today.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee, yeah, goddamn, like how can I forget that? Yeah, no, because I was so thinking Christopher Reeves, and I'm like, that is definitely not the same character, same actor.
No,
but there's a few. But then there's
really
like, you know, I feel
today.
like there are quite a few people in the prequels that aren't like dead famous actors, and then obviously Hayden Christensen, who
like, Ewan McGregor had done Train Spotting, but they were mostly up and coming actors.
Yeah, George would cast solely based on like heart and feeling, though. Like I know he turned down Paul Walker and Leonardo DiCaprio for Anakin because he said Hayden just had something he was looking for. And I was watching some behind the scenes, and I like Menace whenever he's casting young Anakin, and one of the actor who didn't get the part as young Anakin, when they're talking about casting him, they said this kid is clearly more experienced than Jake Lloyd. It's like he'll move the production along a lot faster. But then George was like, right, but this one has the kind of heart I'm looking for the character. So he would cast
and I like,
entirely based on what he wanted in his head.
I think it might be a similar thing where he's talking about Ewan McGregor, I think it was. And he said about one of his, things that he thought about when casting for Star Wars is that he cast these people thinking about who they're going to grow up into, because he realizes, I'm going to be working with these people for nearly 10 years. And that was one of the reasons he picked Ewan McGregor, because he foresaw that he would likely age into closer to Alec Guinness, which he did perfectly in those films. But it's that thing as well that he wanted to cast people that he knew would stick around and that he could get that would stay for like 10 years, and do free films.
It on like how he feels about the actor as well, not even like their work, but like as a person. Like he said, he picked Hayden because Hayden reminded him of James Dean, and that was the reason. Like he had that like kind of air of James Dean to him, and that's why he went with Hayden.
I think
because it just fit like what he wanted.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
There's also the fact that when you look at casting, if you cast someone too popular, like it hasn't been confirmed, but there's all these theories and stuff that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been like fighting a war to make Pedro Pascal be on set for The Mandalorian season 2 and 3 and for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's like a running gag that he's never there and he's just like a voice actor for the character, because I think it was The Mandalorian season 3, most of The Mandalorian's physical appearances are not Pedro Pascal. It's just he leans
into that himself. Like when he has to do his promo things. I mean, he's probably not writing the promo things he has to post himself anyway, but he'll say like, shout out to the multiple people who play the Mandalorian. Like that's a constant, like a consistent thing.
So if you want to have a character like Luke, where you want to cash in and like use them, you can't get somebody, because a lot of people want Sebastian Stan, and I'm like, dude, I don't know.
He's too busy.
You don't want somebody who's not going to be able to be on set.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's not old, but he's not like a really young fella as well. Like I would say you want to cast people really young and unknown, because you want to be able to work with them for a long time. And you want them to have that sort of, well, it sounds a bit manipulative, but you want them to owe a debt to you as well, so that you can, they'll film other stuff. Then you'll say, well, come back to Star Wars.
You
and
need
they'll
someone.
think, well, you gave me my career, so yeah.
The age of the original cast when they finished, so like late 20s, early 30s, like that's the age you need.
Yeah, and I would even say personally, the way I would think about it is maybe even a little younger, because you can do a bit of makeup and stuff to make them look older. And the reason I would say that is so then you can keep them for longer and work with them more.
That's true, yeah, because like George had to consider like, I'm going to be doing this for 5 years, but Disney have to consider we're doing this for 80 years. Like we need someone. We're pulling him out of retirement home to get that scene. We need him now.
Yeah, they did makeup on Ewan McGregor in episode 3 to make him look older throughout that whole movie.
Yeah, they did.
Like that's why, because as a kid I was like, wow, he still looks really young. Like he looks younger in real life than he did in episode 3. It's because they literally like put fake gray and they aged him up with wrinkles throughout the entirety of episode 3. So according to this comment, Pedro Pascal actually wasn't on set a single day for season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Not surprised.
But I'll be shocked if we see the Mandalorian again as a character. I think this movie is gonna be the last time we see him. I think Pedro is too expensive.
I'm done with him anyway.
And I think that this movie is gonna bomb, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna perform really badly. Even Disney apparently has said
don't know what they're doing with the character anymore. I mean, they've said as much, right? Like it wasn't meant to last as long as it did. Really, they should have just leaned into making it the Grogu show, because that was the only thing that Disney cared about.
That's all. Yeah, they saw the money.
No one's buying the Mandalorian plushie; they're buying the Grogu plushie. So like, get rid of the Mandalorian straight away. as
They
Gabe
could have
said, they should have
really,
given Grogu to Luke,
given
and then
him-
Grogu gets
yeah.
his show with Luke.
Yeah. Oh, what about, right? Keep the actor that plays Luke, give Grogu to Luke, make a show with Luke about Luke, other students, and Grogu. You've got Grogu there, all the money that he'll make. You could make him actually grow up.
Your Young Jedi Knight film, like we were talking about. You get your Hogwarts, you get your school show.
It was right there.
It's popular.
John Favreau handed it to them and said, "Here you go." And they said, "No, we want to just do another Mandalorian and give him back to Grogu." Why?
Yeah.
Massive missed opportunity. He should have just written on the board Harry Potter with like dollar signs on either side of it.
Yeah, that's what you have to do with these people. You have to be like, money, money. This will lose you money. I know you think it's going to make you money in merchandising, but it's going to kill the thing that's worth
that's
merchandising.
The famous story with Aliens, right, with James Cameron, is that he walked into the meeting, he wrote Alien on the board, and then he wrote the dollar sign at the end. He went, Aliens. And they're like, okay, we're on board, let's go.
There you go.
Like, that's what you need to do.
In the Mando movie, Mando's going to die, and we have the lead into Grogu's solo show.
He stays a baby.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He dons his own Mandalorian helmet with a tiny little Yoda
that'd be
body.
the stupidest thing. You have to remember, the Mandalorian and Grogu is the death roll of Kathleen Kennedy's time as head of LucasArts. I'm not saying Dave Filoni is going to do better or worse, but I do know that this is kind of marking an end to the project. She had involvement.
He's going to do
Starfighter,
different. Yeah, Filoni doesn't seem to be raving about Mandalorian and Grogu.
I know Filoni likes the Mandalorian as a series, as a character, but I suspect this movie is going to see the end of the Mandalorian, because I know what Dave wants, at least so insofar as that he wants Ahsoka. He wants to talk and make stuff about Ahsoka, and we know Hayden's going to be in season 2. Everybody suspects Ewan's going to be in season 2. So Ahsoka season 2 is where he is putting all his chips, I think.
Dave wants live action, what he's always done, which is Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, he finally do that in live action, so that's what he's going to want to do until it leaks out of his system.
Maybe we could, if they could get Pedro, we could do a series or a film where he starts off and he doesn't wear the armor, and he says, oh, I'm not the Mandalorian anymore. And then the last scene, he puts on the Mandalorian armor, and he's like, oh, I'm the Mandalorian now. And then they could do a second season, and he's not wearing it. And then he could at the end of that season, put it on and say, okay, I'm the Mandalorian now.
So we're talking about the Punisher.
Yeah, they could just do that over and over.
Yeah,
with
that's
Pedro
true.
Pascal.
Imagine if they
did
that.
It would have to be deepfake Pedro Pascal, because he's not going to be on set.
Yeah, he's not showing up for that.
Yeah.
He's not going to come actually do any work and film a Star Wars movie. He's going to film something else. They should have done that with Daredevil. They made a mistake by letting Daredevil wear his suit in season 2. They should have just had him lose his suit at the beginning of season 1 and say, I'm not Daredevil anymore.
As well, him and the Punisher could do it together at the same time.
Yeah. Is it a problem that they write series now how they write games? Because that's all the thing, right? In a sequel, they'd be like, how do you start back at level 1, right? Like what happened? It's always like you get hit over the head, or like something happens and be like, oh no, you lost all your powers.
Metroidvania level storytelling.
That's literally what it is.
We don't know how to write any story except one of 3 templates we have. So anytime we do a sequel, we don't know how to progress it.
We only know coming of age, so we're just going to apply coming of age over and over. We're
just going to reset it and tell this story again and again.
Yeah.
People in Hollywood always complain and talk about how there's no creativity, but also you guys keep telling the same 3 stories over and over again, and you're complaining that there's no original movies because they're all comic book movies. But if it wasn't, it would just be the same 3 stories you know how to tell.
Yeah.
How much of a golden lead in has Starfighter got thanks to Project Hail Mary? Yeah, if they screw up Starfighter, I don't know how they're going to recover from that. They have a silver platter handed to them with the Starfighter project. So.
I think the film division of Star Wars is dead if Starfighter fails. I think they're purely just going to TV.
I agree. I think Starfighter is a last shot, but they've got Gosling, they've got Amy Adams, they have the guy who made Wolverine and Deadpool directing. Tom Cruise worked on it and filmed some lightsaber fights. If you
they're going all in
up,
already, aren't they?
Yeah. If you manage to screw this up, you deserve whatever happens to you. You have literally everything lined up in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
A show to unify.
Well,
the
back
fandom.
to Dark Forces. Back to Dark Forces 2.
Yeah, back to
which
the
is
topic of the show.
video.
Introduce Kyle Katarn. That's the way to save it.
Yeah, true. They could actually just introduce aged Kyle Katarn, just get the actor straight in.
Ryan Gosling
I'm sure
is
he's
Kyle
available.
Katarn.
Oh, that would be a sideways.
He's Kyle and Corran at the same time.
Yeah, what if his name was Kyle Horn? Or Corran Katarn?
Yeah.
Corran Katarn.
So, should we do our ratings for the levels?
Yeah. So let's do our tier list for each
So,
of the levels before.
If you didn't watch
off.
the last episode, as Evan just said, we did a tier list for Dark Forces 1, so we'll do it for Dark Forces 2. But I just want to mention as well before we get into that, the movement in this game, I just really miss this kind of movement in FPS games. It's very much similar to Dark Forces 1. It's very fast paced. It feels like Gabe might notice, like a CS:GO surfing map. Like that kind of gameplay, like it's extremely fast paced. Like it does feel like you're gliding.
I will actually shout out for no reason whatsoever a little game in development called Momentum Mod, which is developed by an old Half-Life 2 speedrunner, which is basically a game hub for surf and b-hop and stuff like that. That I have already put a lot of time into. It's very, very good if you like that sort of thing.
If you like that kind of stuff, that's what Dark Forces 2 plays like. It does feel that glide.
It feels like I'm playing something that I should be like drooling with my eyes crossed while I play it, listening to somebody talk about some commentary drama, just watching the game you played.
There could be some insane like parkour for this game or something like that.
I understand why this style of movement, like, it fell out of favor
what I would
for the
say,
more realism in the early 2000s with FPS games, but I really do like this speed, like from Unreal Tournament. If you ever played those games, like what I'm talking about. Like,
I think it's
I
most
like the
prevalent in those
speed,
last
but
levels.
the thing that really irritates me about the movement is the slidiness. In that, like, you will stop moving and then just keep going. You're going so fast that it's like Kyle has to skid to a stop every time when you're moving. That meant sometimes I'd come up near a ledge and I'd stop, and Kyle would just go down it and die.
Quite terrifying for that reason. But I think it feels really good with the lightsaber, because you feel like even though you get force speed as a power later on, you just feel like you have force speed on all the time. Like, especially in third person, with like the FOV the game has, like you can sprint down a hallway.
I found
you'll block their shot, like jump over them and slash them. Like, it feels good.
I found if you looked at an angle and held W and D or W and A,
you went faster.
You would go ridiculously fast. You could if there were loads of enemies and you didn't have much health, just do that and you'll I played the game
and then if you use force
everywhere.
speed, that's when it's ridiculous. You just speed around the map.
I think I almost never actually played by moving forward with the W key. I think it was always like forward side strafe, and I would just like that throughout all of the game.
Everywhere.
Did you guys play primarily in first or third person in this game?
First, until I got the lightsaber.
Really, you switched to?
I was
with the lightsaber.
I switched to third when I bring out the lightsaber, and then switch back to first if I'm shooting.
I played that way for Jedi Outcast.
I like to switch.
You played it mostly in third, did you?
I played it entirely in first. I switched to third.
Oh, in first.
Almost never. But that's because
I found I was worse with the lightsaber in first. I don't know why, but I just noticed that my shield would always go down faster if I was using first person. Like, I just don't dodge the shots as well.
The way I played it was first person and then third person for boss fights, and that was it. Everything else was first person. Occasionally,
way to play, honestly.
Yeah, the only time I would occasionally switch to third person to use the lightsaber, but every time I would just think, what was the point of that? There was no need, because I'm gonna have to then switch back into first person again, which I'm more comfortable with. Because
there was something.
That's a critique I will say. I think it's very cool they introduced the lightsaber, but I didn't actually get much usage out of it in combat. I felt like I should be blasting stuff most of the time. I still
it's made
back
for
on the
easy mode.
gunplay.
If you want to play the lightsaber, you got to play on easy, because anything harder than that, you can't use it very often.
Yeah, which makes sense because Kyle just got it and he wouldn't.
Yeah, he's not that good.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that if you use the lightsaber more, Kyle gets better at deflecting blaster bolts. Like
that could be true, because maybe it's just based on
it might be true because
but in later levels I do feel like you dodge, you deflect them a lot more than when you first get it.
That was my experience, because
I reckon there's I reckon there's something to it because by the end of the game, Kyle for me was like never missing a shot when I had the lightsaber out. Like I very rarely missed anything.
I'm pretty sure that's a mechanic in the game. He rarely deflects them when you first get it, but by the end of the game, he should be able to deflect anything.
Deflects all of them. Yeah.
I played on medium difficulty, but I almost never use anything except the lightsaber, which does make it a lot harder. But it's because I have this ingrained like memory from being like a child and seeing the lightsaber in first person and being like, this is the coolest thing in the world. So I can't play that game with the lightsaber in third person. I have to see the first person like green lightsaber blade. That
was me with Jedi Outcast, and that's why Nar Shaddaa is the filter in that game, because I'm like, I can't go back to guns. I've got the lightsaber, so you can't get any of the ciphers for that reason.
Dude, I was so harsh about that in my retrospective on Jedi Outcast. I was like, giving you a lightsaber and then putting you in a level where you can't use it is one of the cruelest things imaginable. Give me a second, guys. Take over. I gotta knock on the door. Come in.
Well, that's why in Jedi Outcast, I'd always use cheats to get the lightsaber early, turn dismemberment on as well, and just use it on the first couple of levels.
I found you still have guns in Academy, don't you? You still have blasters.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the funny thing about Academy. In Academy as well. Why do you have blasters by this point? You're playing actually a full.
Because I never ever used blasters in that game, not once.
There's certain enemies that are a lot more susceptible to some of the guns, actually.
Yeah, I never wanted to. I never wanted to use blasters in that game at all.
It doesn't make sense for a game like Jedi Academy.
It's not conducive to the experience. It's not.
No.
Yeah, I think you could argue it being intentional. I just felt like there wasn't any sort of synergy between blasters and using a lightsaber. Like they felt very at odds.
I think
they are like separate gameplay modes, aren't they? I mean, the way to get around that, and this is probably beyond the capabilities of the Sith engine, but would be the like one-hander blaster and one-hander lightsaber.
Yeah,
like,
I love them. In Jedi Survivor, I love the way the blaster and lightsaber loadout works.
Yeah,
it's like one of my.
I think that would have just blown my mind as a kid. Like the lightsaber was enough to blow my mind. If I could suddenly like shoot at the same time, because you've not really seen anyone do that in the movies at this point either. Like that would have been next level.
But I also know that Jedi Academy was developed in like a year, and I do know that for like the first few months of the game's development, you weren't planned to be given a lightsaber until the second of the three. So the first set of missions, you weren't going to have a lightsaber. You were going to have to
like mimicking Dark Forces 2 and Jedi Outcast.
You were going to have, because it's that thing we were talking about where they have to reset it every time. So you were supposed to play the first set of missions, and then it was going to be like you were going to build the cutscene. You were going to get to build the lightsaber. Instead, what they did is they let you, I think, make a second lightsaber is what you can do. You can choose between saber staff or a second lightsaber if you want. But originally, you weren't going to, so that's why the gunplay is there. But what ended up happening is they realized it's just not as fun and the game isn't very long as it is. Because I think you could beat Jedi Academy in like 4 hours. So they said, let's just start them with the lightsaber so they can have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a wise move.
I agree.
I think so.
Well, it's probably a lesson that this game could have learnt, because this game is filled with filler compared to like the first game, which felt pretty tight and like it was short. It was like 5 hours long, the first game. This game was around 8 to 9 hours long, but just a lot of these levels felt like they have to exist so that the cutscenes don't just happen one after another. Like it's just something in between.
And there still is an instance
I wrote something.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I wrote something in my notes that I then kept using a lot, which was how I would describe the gameplay loop of this game at times, which is why I found it sometimes really difficult to play, which was just 2 words: corridors and buttons. The whole game is just like one corridor to another. At the end of each corridor is a button. You might have to go back and press another button. You might have to press certain buttons. It's just corridors and buttons so much of it. And the thing is, there are great levels where it isn't like that. There are really open, beautiful levels, and there's quite a few of them.
It's the filler levels that are all like that. The filler levels all fit that same mantra of like, okay, we make a really small maze, we put a load of buttons in it. That's dope. And those levels will last about 10 minutes. You just feel like this was nothing. What was the point?
I was really disappointed with the Valley of the Jedi level, because I was really hoping for something more from that, and it was just retextured corridors and buttons.
I mean, the descent into the valley. Yeah, the descent into the
that's
valley
why I
was the
can't,
worst
get
because you're
into
meant to be descended into this Jedi valley, and it's just like standard Imperial architecture the entire way down. I'm like,
Yeah.
How did they
what the
build
hell?
that
Like, you
so
don't even
fast?
feel like I know. It doesn't even feel like you're in an ancient temple at
Yeah.
all.
That was one
Makes
of the
no sense.
That was one of the things I talked about. First off, why are there Kell dragons way down underground? What are they eating, and how did they get there? Second off, one of the things I struggled with in the third act of the game that I talked about in my video is you get a cutscene and then you're just sort of at it's Rusan, right? Rusan is the name of the planet.
Yeah.
You're just at Rusan, and there's this entire Imperial base that's been built. There's like an AT-AT, and I'm like, okay, what happened? And I think you're supposed to get the idea that Jarek had gotten there like 2 weeks before, but then also because they'd been digging to get to the valley, but they built that whole thing in like 2 weeks. They built entire Imperial infrastructure that fast.
If they wanted to have that tile set, they should have had like a landed Star Destroyer
That would have been
like next to the valley.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, because it feels like they just didn't.
Very swift.
There's very limited tile sets in this game. Like there's the valley tile set is just the outside like canyons and stuff. Like there's I guess there was time constraints on the art on the art side maybe.
Does show you the efficiency of the Empire though.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they do make a point out of that in some books. How like one of the reasons why the Empire stays around and why it's good that they all unite in the end is because they were very, they got work done really quick and really well. And it wasn't just because you could talk about the slavery and stuff like that they did, but they actually
you can talk about the slavery, but the efficiency.
Yeah.
How were the pyramids built?
It's
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
It's like if you guys have ever had like
Outside
New
of
Vegas
that.
discourse, it's like the Legion were like use slaves and they were terrible, but like the roads are safe.
But how about those roads though?
Yeah.
Isn't that in the game? Isn't that in the dialogue where like what is it when you talk to someone and they're
one
like
of the merchant says that he literally says like they do all this bad stuff, but the roads are safe. I don't get any raiders.
There's a scene in the first season of The Mandalorian back when it was good and it had like good writing. But in the first season of The Mandalorian, where the Mandalorian's talking to like some Imperial character, and the character says that every system the Empire comes to is safer, has better finance, has better resource, has better everything. It's always better. It's just that little thing of the fact that they like oppress people and wave guns around at everybody and imprison them.
Yeah. Well, I
But other
always
than that-
my
if only for
My
like these
favourite-
terrible things they do. It's actually really good.
The best depiction I always think of is in the novel by Timothy Zahn, Survivor's Quest, where sort of Mara is quite forced to face her Imperial past and why it appealed to her as they encounter the Empire of the Hand again, which is basically like Thrawn's little empire that is like the Empire if they were a million times better. And it shows all the things that the Empire did get right. And it's sort of this to act as this sort of temptation for her, which she ultimately denies, and because the New Republic is the better option. But it's this example of it's a hard thing for people to face, but something like the Empire had its good qualities, which is obviously they had to be stopped, but that doesn't necessarily mean there weren't things that they did right. And I always like the idea, like they were very efficient, but again, they had so many problems. Again, it's the reason I have to be careful.
Well, you
because
see
people,
in the prequels,
people will
like,
get angry at you for saying it, but they did do some things
how
all right.
poor the
I agree.
bureaucracy of the Republic was. Like, I imagine it was a lot easier when Sidious was in power, and he just said, "Make the road safe," and then they were. Like, that was probably much easier than having a massive public debate about, okay, how are we going to get the road safe? How much budget is this? Who's going to be involved?
Well,
You just be like, nope, we're going to simply do it.
It's one of those things where, first off, it's like a fictional universe; it's not real. But I think people
Yeah.
you got to be grown up about certain conversations. So there's historical references, like if you look at the Roman Empire, it's like, is it good that they would watch people kill each other in an arena for sport? No, that's evil. They would crucify people on crosses for not doing things they wanted, which is a heinous, awful way to die. Like, the Roman Empire did a lot of really terrible things, but also we have an enormous amount of like incredible infrastructure from the Roman Empire, like aqueducts and stuff. Incredible. The Roman roads are still around today because of how efficient they were. You just have to be able to look at something objectively and be like, yes, evil is evil, but good is good,
Yeah. Well, that's why what you should do really is look at what they did right and say, well, we'll
The
keep
Empire
that,
made
or
trains
we'll
run
do
on
that.
time.
Yeah. I mean, if they were going off the Roman way, as soon as if something went slightly bad in the Sidious, they'd be like, throw him out, kill him, get the new ones in. Like the Imperial Guard would have just
Right.
overthrown him as soon as it happens.
Definitely
Because
not.
it seems like in Rome, it's like, if you didn't give us a golden age within 6 months, you're not good enough. We're getting a new one in.
We're scared it's about to become too tyrannical. I'm going to stab you in the back.
Yep. You didn't get a lot of time to be a good emperor back then.
It's not a 1-to-1 analogy, of course, because Rome
No.
didn't have an emperor that could like force lightning you and like throw you into the sky if you piss him off.
Yeah.
Well, some of them got as close as they could back then. I mean, Nero was like pretty insane.
Oh yeah, they did. They had to kill that guy. Now we're just talking about Roman history for some reason. Well, let's get back to Dark Forces.
So the level ratings. So let's
Right.
go double cross on Nar Shaddaa. This is how the game opens.
S tier.
I gave that A tier for me, but it's just put it S.
What's wrong with it? That's not S. What do you dislike about it?
How dare you have a
No,
different opinion?
It just didn't blow me away, and I think probably
I'm
the
kicking you off
first
this
time,
Discord
the
call right
first time, I think probably the first time I played it, I didn't get into it, and then the second time I really enjoyed it. That's probably the only thing I would say.
Yeah. It just felt
I
like a
often find
massive
with,
flex after playing Dark Forces 1. They were just like, look how good this looks. And I was like, yeah, it does look really good.
Yeah, I find with a lot of these levels if I go back to them, I appreciate them so much more. If I'm just playing them for the first time, I never know where to go. I never know what I'm doing. That's just how I feel every time I start any level on this game.
But
Nar Shaddaa felt pretty linear. It felt like you couldn't get that lost, I would say.
But the thing that level has like moving platforms. That level has like friendly NPCs that aren't trying to attack you. That level has like interesting lighting. It has big open spaces where you can fall into the void.
That's what I mean. Like it's the flex of like, this is all the stuff we couldn't do.
It has
in,
moving
like,
TIE fighters at one point, doesn't it? Where you look down and you see TIE fighters. So if you think about when the year that came out, which is the same year as Quake 2, no other game was doing anything even close to that. That's actually probably one of the most impressive levels in the history of video games for that.
That's where it goes back to what I was saying about the juxtaposition of like they were trying to be this immersive cinematic game, and then they were held back by the confines of a 90s first-person shooter, you know? Like they had to mix the two of them. And I'm glad they have those 90s first-person shooter elements, but they were really trying to do something that you didn't see by a lot of 90s games. You know, the Quake world building isn't seen much in the gameplay. It's more like exists around the game. Like the world building, you can see the world building in this game.
I'm dying at some of these comments. This one says, you can say many bad things about fascism, but as long as people comply, it really works.
Yeah.
This one says, as long as people will just comply. This one says, how frequently do men think about the Roman Empire? About every 10 podcasts.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's inevitable.
Well, that's funny.
Okay, so the lost disc, just running through the sewers. I've got C.
It was just, I gave it C because
it's kind of
one of my notes was that it was like, one of my notes was that it just felt like more of the first level. Like it could have just been,
and it's worse.
You know,
and there's a lot of crazy.
He could have just not dropped the disc and then got to the next level.
I know.
You know?
Why did they need to put that in? Why? That's the thing. The ridiculous reasons they come up with for levels is insane.
It's like storytelling by definition is contrived, but you didn't need to have him drop the disc. You wrote
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
how much of an idiot is Kyle?
I know.
I start getting a little bit more critical of video game levels the more they rely on big square rooms and lots of crates, which Quake 2 is extremely guilty of. But when you have a level that starts to get more and more populated with gray square rooms and lots of storage crates around, that's when I start being like, okay, this is a little bit tacked on, and it could probably be cut without much being.
That's
lost.
why I felt like for this to be the second level, like, bro, that's
already getting like
a
that
massive drop from level 1. They should have gone straight to Catan Homestead, because Catan Homestead, I'm sure, was a level that we all dislike for the same reason of it being extremely maze-like. But in terms of what it looks like, that would have continued this awe, right? The shock and awe, being like, wow, this looks so much better than like what we had before.
I'm sticking with C tier. I agree.
But yeah, C tier because it is a hell to navigate. That was one of the ones I nearly pulled out a guide for it. And the only reason I didn't is because like, when you tab and you open up I use tab anyway. I use tab for the auto map, and I was like, it's not big. It's not big. I just have to hold on. Like if I keep looking around, I'll find what I need to do. That was the only reason I kept looking around to find a specific door you need to progress.
Yeah.
But the waterfall area was pretty cool. You know, and you get your first aspect of like swimming in the game, and
we're talking about
that all felt good.
We're talking about level 3 now.
This is all still level 3. Yeah, the Catan Helmstead. You go at the back of his house, and there's like the big waterfall.
We moved on to that. So something for some reason my head was still on the Lost Disc.
Yeah. Oh no.
Me too.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No,
Right,
sorry, that's yeah. That's why I was just talking about like how level 3 level 3 should have been level 2.
Yeah,
like
okay.
level 2
what
should
tier are we
not have
thinking
been there.
For level 3?
What tier are we thinking for 3 then?
I'm going to say B tier. It is really confusing, but it does have a much more interesting aesthetic look than level. It looks too cool.
What I would say is, I think the first time I played it, because I did start this game before, I hated it. But then this time around, because I kind of knew what to do, I had a really good time. Because of the way it's very confusing, and I still critique it for that. But knowing what to do, I could appreciate all of the other stuff a lot more. And I really liked, I liked the story. One of my notes was a cheesy story, but I like it. It was very it was very cheesy, but I liked what I was seeing. And I wrote, in the intro cutscene, there's this great transition where he holds up a disc and it
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I love that. Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, I liked the layout, and I liked how it went to water. And one of the things I wrote, which is what a game like this should do, is actually felt clever from this.
Yeah, and that
when you do the right puzzles, I thought the platforming that got the heart racing, like the platforming near the end.
Mm-hmm. And I also love this is where you get one of the coolest shots in the game. I love Star Wars, which obviously is indicative of what I'm about to say, which is I love when stories are like willingly cheesy with like their morality. So the scene where where he holds up his lightsaber and his dad says use it for good, and he turns it on the green saber, that's like my favorite scene from the whole game. I love that.
Yeah,
I really love that.
It's
lot.
great.
And that comes.
I love that cutscene. Mm-hmm. That might be my favorite cutscene as well. It's very very good.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what a Jedi game should be. You should have a mentor character be like, okay, here's power, use it for good. You know what I'm saying? Literally, he says that. So that's another reason why it's got to be B tier for me, because it has my favorite cutscene in the game.
I've got C/B just because of, as I said, the maze-like quality.
I will agree on B, because like I said, I think my rating was a bit bloated because I already knew what to do. I think I put A for some reason, but I think taking into account my issues with like my first playthrough, I'd probably put it to a B, and everything we're talking about as well.
Also, how wealthy must Morgan Katarn have been? Because that place is huge.
That house that is massive. That's a compound. That's not a house.
And it has like the big spinning thing. Like, Kyle, what kind of family do you come from, brother?
When I read the novella for the Dark Forces 1, I didn't understand why the Empire was going after this little moisture farmer on this planet, because that's how it's described in the book. And I'm like, I was thinking of where Luke's aunt and uncle live. Like, why? Like, they sent like an AT-AT to take that down. I'm like, that's a bit much. But now when I see this place in the game, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, I would have thought I would have thought that was a rebel base as well. Look at it, it's massive.
Dang.
Yeah. So level 4, Jedi lightsaber. I've got A for this just because you get the lightsaber. This is like one of the first Jedi games that existed that wasn't like a 2D platformer. Like the first 3D Jedi game that had a lightsaber. A tier just for that.
Yeah,
the level itself was.
I put B tier because I thought the water was annoying. I can't see myself ever wanting to replay it, and it starts cutting through things with a lightsaber sounds really cool, but when you don't know where to cut, it can become very irritating. And I didn't struggle with it on this level, but I could see at the time. I remember thinking, "Oh no, I know this is gonna trip me up."
You see a lot of different grates, and it's only when you know which the specific one you can cut is. Like, you don't know you're just cutting randomly at different things, being like, can I cut this? Can I cut this?
And it does feel like more of the same, I think, from the previous level.
Yeah.
There's a comment here that's pretty good that says, I do like that immediately after that you can spend like an hour killing Ouija, and it locks you into the dark side. It freaked me out first time I did, and I heard Ron say, for you, it is the dark side. So that's a cool note that they were thinking players are, developers used to consider that. They'd be like, players are immediately going to attack this droid with this lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's pretty cool.
About,
thinking ahead.
I'll give it a
what
C.
tier are we?
It's not.
Are
It's not.
I put B for that, but
are we in the?
In retrospect, I'm not really sure.
Does this level, are the aqueducts in this level, or is that right after this?
This is aqueducts.
This is aqueducts. Yeah, I'm sticking.
Okay, so we're all quite different.
There was too many of them.
Just because for me, like, this was what was most exciting is when I got the lightsaber. Even though the level itself was like, I didn't feel like it was that hard. I felt like I just accidentally stumbled on the end. Like, you just kind of follow the aqueducts, and then you come out to this massive open area, and you do a little bit of platform.
For the aqueduct section, there's just so many of them. I feel like a problem I had with this game, right, is, for example, compared to Half-Life a year later, in Half-Life, you need to go through an event. Okay, smash it, go through an event, and that's it. In this game, it's like, you go through an event, turn left through another event, up another event, down another event, go right through an event. And it's like everywhere you go, there's like a million of it, and it's massive. And like the aqueducts, it could have been a very short section of going through some water, and you would have thought, oh, this is so cool. But then it goes on and on and on, and it gets massive. And I found it really frustrating because I just think, I'm sick of this now. Let me get on with it. I'm sick of seeing water and flying through water and doing all these ridiculous puzzles.
And for me, it wasn't the most appealing environment to play with the lightsaber right after you These massive stretches where the enemies are really far away and you don't have the
But it was cool that the first few you find, like, they don't know you're there. Like, they're facing away. Cool. Yeah. So you can get the swoop down and, like, you can kill them before they see you and stuff.
I
that
think they should,
cool.
I
think the AI in this game is pretty good as well. Pretty advanced for the time, like, trying to feel real.
Shockingly good for the time.
Yeah. Like, I think the citizens will, like, which we'll come into actually on the next level, level 5. Citizens will, like, run away. They'll, like, they'll run into their houses, and there's, like, certain times there'll be, like, locked doors that can only open if you scare the right citizen, and they'll run into their house, and you can get into there.
Yeah, there's an Easter egg in one of them from a different character.
Max.
Yeah. I
stumbled
it's the
little
upon
rabbit
just
from
purely organically. I got into the house, and I was like, who is this? And he's, like, walking around.
Mm-hmm.
The city's a different level, though, right? That's not part of level 4.
No, this is level 5 now. Yeah,
okay,
so this is the next level.
I love this level. It's gonna be A for me on this one. I loved fighting in a city that felt like a real city, and you know, it just felt like you were going through these streets, and it felt so real and visceral for a game of this. Like, I can't think of another. Like, other games had tried to do, like, cities at this time, but I feel like this one really actually felt like a Star Wars city. And like you said, you had civilians
FPS game.
going into houses and stuff. I love this one.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I liked the design of it. I just didn't enjoy the gameplay in that city. Like, I didn't have fun. And I didn't really... Again, I had this issue a lot, as you can tell. I had no idea what to do.
There is a part where you have to, like, jump on top of a thing and then jump on top of another thing. It is... You can get lost really easily.
Nonsensical, and this is the thing, I guess, because I'm younger and I'm used to different types of games, but I can't get games where I have to do shit like that. It really gets to me because I have no clue where to go. I mean, it's a cool level, but I didn't have that much fun on it.
It's you know, when you see someone on Twitter and you're like, "That's rage bait. Don't engage." That's how game design was back then. You'd be like, "I gotta think like, I want to annoy the player. What would I do?" And then that's what you gotta look for.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
It gets worse in Mysteries of the Sith, but I love the fact that there's like a cantina you can go into and like see like patrons and stuff. I thought that was super. It like makes the world feel a little bit lived in.
Yeah, I really like that. Like the shops, like the bar I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or in the pre-show, but there's a bar you can go into where there's like a lot of the aliens are fighting, and I guess it showed my accidental Star Wars racism because they're all the same race as some of the enemies that have guns, and because they're fighting each other, I thought, oh, I'll kill them. But then the dark side music started playing because they're just having a bar fight. Like that doesn't mean you could walk in and just shoot them in the head for doing that.
It makes you rethink. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
and
great.
then there's the bartender didn't care, but I think he was pretty happy that I got. To be fair.
Yeah, just you gotta be like Han and like flip him a credit and be like for the trouble.
Yeah, exactly. It probably didn't
that.
help that I ran behind him and stole the back to tank that was behind him.
Yeah, those didn't belong to you. You can't just be stealing back to tanks.
Yeah,
More dark side
probably
points.
wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, that's easily A tier for me. What did you say?
Yeah, I've got C for game.
I put D tier because I didn't have. It's a great design, but I had no fun playing that level.
And then you
That's
put
fair.
it where, Jular?
I got B.
Okay, B. Okay, so I like that level more than either of you did.
So next is level 6, Into the Dark Palace. So this is one of the ATST. So I gave it A just because I thought the fight with the ATST was sick.
Yeah, I would go A. It's a great. That's one of those things where it's like the gameplay is incentivizing you to use force speed if you have it, but you can still play it if you don't. So I loved that. I loved fighting the ATST. I loved the giant open area and the fact that you see this giant palace and you're like, I got to get in there. I love it. That's another A tier for me.
Yeah.
For me, I think I hated the beginning. Like, I really like later on. I wrote it, once you get past the bridge, I really enjoy it. But earlier on, I hate the mines. I hate them so much.
Oh, yeah, the mines are the worst
The
part of the
radius is...
Yeah.
the radius is enormous, and you can't, like... I tried to shoot them, and, like, nothing is happening. Infuriating, and that really annoyed me. I had no idea.
Like the one time in the game where you actually have to use them.
Yeah, you have to use thermal detonators to blow them up.
I think that set me up to not enjoy it. I think I wrote that I enjoyed it later on, but after that beginning, like
completely understandable, yeah.
My mindset was like not in the mood to like enjoy that level.
You just hear the little you hear the little double beep and you're dead. You just know it's game over.
Yeah, no.
So level 7, we've got, is it Yun?
That's just a boss fight, right?
That little boss fight,
yeah.
I liked that. Simple.
I said A because it's the first Dark Jedi. I thought this was one of the harder Dark Jedi fights.
It is. You're not
all
strong.
the ones after that are pretty trivial.
I had an easy time with it myself. I really enjoyed it. But I didn't struggle at all.
No.
As I was taught, you weren't here, Julia. Right before I was saying how I immediately figured out very early on in the game that if you sprint and hold one direction and go in circles around a boss, you can kill every single one of them. Yeah, if you do that, they will never hit you, and you can kill every single one of them. And I did that for the entire game.
The AI, that's where it's lacking in this game. That's why I think in Jedi Outcast, they just programmed them to jump like crazy, like all the time.
Yeah.
Jedi Outcast AI is just everyone spams jumping. Yeah, there is, yeah.
So,
but even then, he can still be defeated by
Gabe, you might not know this, but that's called circle strafing, and it goes back to the original Doom. It's just something in these old games that you did.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just going in a circle around an enemy to avoid getting hit.
I mean, old games have that kind of stuff. Old RPGs, they didn't expect you to be able to walk backwards and attack at the same time, so the AI just can't really do it very well. So if you just walk backwards and keep attacking, the AI can just never hit you. That was like a
Fallout
common
3 strat.
Yeah, that's true as well in Fallout 3, yeah.
So I would give that B tier. I quite liked it. It wasn't like anything spectacular for me, but it was I really liked it. It was a fun first boss fight. It was a good introduction, I think, and I liked the cutscenes too.
I've given it an A, almost like as a separate, like out of the boss fights, it's an A, but yeah, as its own level, I'd say it's a B because, I mean, even maybe a C because it's not, other than the fight, it's not anything, right? It's just the fight.
It's just the fight.
It's not even really a level to compare to the other ones.
I would say, real quick, just for a brief second, I want to go back to the level right before it, because the very end of that level is like this big staircase, and like a super tall door opens, and stormtroopers flood out, and you have to kill them, and that's another reason why it's A tier, because that scene is like super cool and visceral. Anyways, back to, I just wanted to
totally agree.
The Yun boss fight, I would probably say it's probably a B for me, or honestly, I'm going to say it's a C.
Yeah.
The environment looks really cool, like that big room looks cool, but it's not conducive to the lightsaber fight itself. It's not very fun. Everything else about it's cool. It looks cool. The cutscenes that happen, the cutscene that happens after you choose not to strike Yun down is really cool. I just don't like the fight. I don't enjoy it, so I gotta say C tier.
Yeah,
doesn't
no, that's
feel
totally
very
fair.
good.
That's fair enough.
level 8, the Palace Escape. I've got E on this. Just like,
Dang, that's
Really?
the lowest one yet.
it's just a nothing
put,
level. It's just ventilation systems and
put-
going through tunnels.
But is
I don't
that
know what it was. I think
that's the level where you're on top of the palace and getting shot at by TIE fighters there, right? Like that's iconic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'll raise it up for that reason. But it's just like the rest of the level was just like nothing.
It's also the first appearance
I
of a
put
Kell
B.
dragon in this game.
But those are only there because they're in the first game, I'm pretty sure.
That is why they're there. But there's a Kell dragon there, and you can punch it to death.
It doesn't make any sense why it's there.
It
No,
kind
for that reason, I'll raise it up to D. I don't know, like, I just didn't enjoy this level.
for me, I just thought it was like it made sense to me. Like I knew where. Like it was a rare case in this
It
game
was
where the
more
level
linear.
design. Yeah, it actually made sense.
I
mean,
knocked
there was
down
some times
levels
where
for
it was
being linear,
difficult,
but I guess for Gabe, it's like they get points for that.
I want to know where I'm going and what I'm doing.
That's fair.
I'm gonna have to go B tier because you're right. The first
Yeah,
half
B
is
is,
a
I would say.
slog, but even when I played it, that part where you're on top of a roof fighting stormtroopers, it's because my head visualizes what it would look like if it were a movie scene and the TIE fighters flying over shooting at you and
Yeah,
you're like
it's
dodging.
very cool.
It's just too cool. It's so cool. So the
Yeah,
first half
very
sucks,
cinematic,
but
yeah.
going from that into fighting a Kell dragon right before getting out, it's super cool. So I gotta go B tier for that level.
That's fair. Level 9 fuel station.
It sucks.
Yeah.
D tier.
That
Yeah.
felt like a Dark Forces 1 level in the worst way. Like everything that was bad about Dark Forces 1 style puzzles.
There's only
like,
one level I
they're
like
here
less
in-
than this one. So D.
Yeah, I've got D.
I am.
It's all filler.
I gave it C, but I didn't think it was like anything spectacular. I just didn't hate it. I think it was one of those ones where I
Yeah.
probably had more enjoyment because I didn't struggle with it, and that's going to make it more enjoyable for me. I just like the design of it. I guess I thought it was designed nicely.
The opening section is kind of cool, where you're like put down out in that kind of exterior level, and you look out and you see a bunch of cool stuff. Everything after that sucks. Going through fuel tunnels where if you get a shot off wrong, everything explodes. That's kind of neat. But so much of that level is like going up and down these like these like spinning like walkways and just getting blown up by Trandoshans with concussion rifles. It isn't fun. It's all filler. Nothing cool happens. I don't like that level at all. Definitely D tier.
Yeah. I've got C. Speaking of filler, 8088's reward, level 10, which is just
F tier. F.
Yeah, F tier. This only
Worst
exists
level
to
in the
break up
fucking
the
game.
cutscenes. Like, then what is the point? Why is this here?
It was the worst part for me was just the gameplay. That whole level was ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
the stuff you had to do, like just defied any logic whatsoever. And like there was just nothing into it. I hated it. I wrote that it felt like a waste of time. Like, I wasted my time playing that level.
That's
Like,
what I
it could
got
have
as well.
The game would be better without it.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's
I
actually
felt like this could skip this easily.
that's the one level in Dark Forces 2 where I was playing when last time I played it, I had to look up a walkthrough. Because there's a button that you have to press to like get the force field down, and it's in like it looks like the wall. It looks slightly different. There's no indication that you're supposed to press it. Oh, dude, that level sucks. That's the level I was talking about
Yeah,
that
no,
I like less than
Yeah.
Fuel Station. That's whatever the
I
bottom
was,
tier is. What is it? E? It's the worst. I hate
E,
that
F,
level.
whatever it is.
That level
yeah.
sucks.
I
It's-
was listening to like an audio episode that was like 45 minutes while playing that, and I think I did the whole thing while playing that, and just going in circles looking
did
for
that.
something different. Yeah, just looking for something that it was that, but it was the force fit on that. It just makes
know the exact thing
no
I'm talking
sense. Yeah, it infuriated me. I did have to look it up. I had to look it up eventually, and yeah, it was just. And then even then, the worst part is none of the rest of it's fun. There isn't like a good beginning or a good ending or something. It's just boring.
And then there's like
Yeah.
there's like a strange thing you have to do where you jump at a grate where it's like a ventilation up, and you wouldn't notice it if you're not like looking for it. The very beginning of the mission where you're like on top of the outside of the ship, if you look up you see the clouds moving, is cool. That's the only redeeming thing I think about that.
I hated as well. I thought of another thing. Is it the part where there's like a event or like it's like a wind like type? I can't remember what it was. There's like a propeller
It blows
and there's
you.
a red sort of shield over it. Yeah, and you have to go through. You have to smash both sides, these two buttons on both sides, and then go through. Well, first of all, Why would I ever think that I smashed those buttons? I had no idea. And then I thought, okay, I'll have a look. Is that red thing gone? Oh no, it's not. Okay, I guess it mustn't have been that. It must have done something else. So I went off, and then eventually, after going around ages, dicking about doing nothing, I had a look at the video, and you go through that thing, which I had no idea. That just made no sense. It was so aggravating.
It's the worst level. Jular, what are your thoughts?
It is the worst.
Heard?
No, it's the worst level of the game. Like I just opened up being like, this doesn't have to exist. Like they could have just jumped straight into Brothers of the Sith, which is the next level. Like it does not need it.
Or just made it shorter and less obtuse.
Yeah, but then it would have just been a filler. Like was it Prison at the Palace Escape? Other than like the set pieces you were saying, it would have just been more filler.
Yeah, there's no cool set pieces in this one. It just sucks.
No, yeah. Level 11, the Brothers of the Sith. This is the second boss fight. Gork and Pick, the deadly twins of the Force, as the game calls them. I've got C/B here. Again, more as a boss fight than a level, because there's not much level to talk of.
I also think the like boss fight arena is like the most boring arena you could possibly imagine. Like,
yeah,
you can go up a level, you can go down a level, and it's all squares, and like that's it. Like it's the most boring like arena. Luckily, like the fight, it's decent. Like I give it a C tier. It's just nothing that stands out about it. And I'll guess I didn't like fighting those two. I just didn't. I didn't think they were.
I mean, as I said, I thought Yun was the hardest. These were just easy at this point because I had like different new force powers. I think I was not. Is it Force Sight, the one where you can see? Because one of them can go invisible, but like you just cast that and then you can just see where they are.
It was that moves, like, that invisible one. It was the invisible one that made me discover that trick out we were talking about earlier. With just
circle spinning around him. Yeah,
just circle. Honestly, because he was jumping around and I didn't have that. Like I didn't know about that thing to see him. So I just started going in circles. Yeah, and then obviously I discovered that he couldn't do a thing.
I would say C tier. I think it's better than the Yun fight.
It's okay.
It's not that interesting. I think it's cool that you get to fight two different lightsaber wielders at the same time, and that they're so different. And I just like the characters. I think that fighting a mutated, this only matters if you're a nerd like me and you know the lore, but Gork is a mutated Gamorrean guard that was experimented on, and he is also brother to Thok from Masters of Terrascasi canon. This is Legends canon. This is true. Those two characters are connected. And Thok sold Gork to a dark side alchemist who experimented on both Gork and Pick to give them like powers and to accentuate their force ability. Pick is a Kowakian monkey lizard who is actually using one of Yoda's old lightsabers. And Luke, in some data thing, actually goes out to the remains of this exact ship. I forget the name of it. They say it to look for that lightsaber later on after Kyle tells him about the fight.
That's pretty cool.
So all of that knowledge makes me like
the lore is more cool than the actual level itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget who
level.
The dark side alchemist is actually a prominent character in Legends. I forget what his name is, but he is also the abusive father of Saris, the one of the female character in the game. So I got to look up his name, Lord something. I'm gonna look up his name while you guys talk.
Yeah. Level 12, which is the escape with the map. That also just felt like level 10 in that it's just here to kind of progress the plot. Very short.
C tier for me, maybe even D. I didn't like the puzzles again. It's just one of those things where it's just like, and the platforming was really like not very fun.
There's a bunch of levels here that don't feel like they exist because the developers thought, I have a really cool idea for a level, I want to do it. It felt like, guys, we need to put something in, think of something.
It's the general gameplay loop of corridors and buttons and then maybe some jumping there's a lot of these filler levels where it really feels like I think you said, Drew, like going from one cutscene to another and they just need something to put there.
It's just they felt like we need a bit of gameplay in between it.
Yeah, and it really dragged down the experience for me because there were so many of these levels, and I feel like for me it got even worse towards the end of the game, which we're entering to now. There's a few good levels coming up that we'll talk about, but for me, there's a point when it just became like the whole game was just like the same
filler
thing.
ones.
Which level was this?
This is This is level 12, Escape with the Map.
Escape with the Map.
I mean,
yeah.
it's just the break up the cutscenes. It feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
It's completely unmemorable. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a 9-hour game that would have been, I think, 4 to 5 hours if they cut out all the unnecessary gameplay bits that don't really add anything to the game. And that, I mean, fair enough, because that probably would have got complaints. Like, that's a pretty short game, especially if nearly an hour of it is video. You get 3 hours of gameplay. Like, I think many people would complain about that.
That became the norm for LucasArts literally right after this, though. Pretty much every Star Wars game LucasArts released after this was like 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, Force Awakens 2 not Force Awakens 2, Force Unleashed 2 being
Force
the famous one.
2. Yeah, well, also like
Force Awakens
Jedi
2.
Starfighter.
Yeah, God, can you imagine the Force Awakens 2?
The Last Jedi 2.
Episode 7 2.
Yeah. God, there'd be like in your Final Fantasy where they have like 7 and there's -2. They should just do like Star Wars Episode 7 -2.
2.
We're doing that.
That's how we can give it another go.
Yeah, that's how you rewrite the Last Jedi. You just do -2 and then -3 for the third one, the new sequel trilogy.
The Return of Rey Skywalker.
Yeah. Level 13 is the Lost Planet of the Jedi. Yeah. I thought this was a pretty cool outdoor canyon level. It was reminiscent of Fest from Dark Forces 1, so I gave it like a C/B for that reason.
I gave it a C because there were some really cool parts, but again, the thing holding it back was it was really winding and you'll go really far and really high and really low, and it could have just been so much simpler. And
it was like Fest in Dark Forces 1, like that had the same thing going for it with all the canyons.
I think it was technologically very impressive for the time. But not as fun.
It looks
as
very
a lot
good.
it's not as fun as a lot of the other levels. So I'm going. I'll give it a B. I like the ending right before you go into the station, because there's like the ATST and it's like this big Imperial area that you access, and there's a couple of parts when you're going through the winding canyons that are pretty cool. It's not nearly as bad as some of the other fillery levels, so I'm giving it a B. And also by this point you have more force power, so it's more fun to just play around.
Yeah, just the general gameplay. That's what makes these filler levels, as they get further into the game, I almost rate them better just because the gameplay has got better to help you deal with them.
I guess
there's just
that
more
might be
things
the
to have
thing.
fun with.
That might be the thing holding them back for me, because I don't think I found the gameplay that fun a lot of the time. Especially I think
that would help.
Compared to like Jedi Academy, which I love. Like I thought about getting. I wanted to get some Jedi Academy footage for something, and I thought I'll go online and just duel a few people. Just get like a little bit of gameplay, and I played it for like an hour and a half, and I just couldn't stop playing it.
We should do
with this game. I don't.
We should do a special episode where we just play movie battles.
Yeah, like a movie battles episode.
Yeah, we should just do a movie battles.
That'd be fun.
I'm terrible.
I've never
at
played
it. But
I want to.
It's very good. It's very good.
It'd be good with us three and AI. If you played it online with other people, we just get dominated. Those guys have been playing it for like 15 years straight. They will completely destroy you.
Yeah, that's why I haven't played it.
Yeah, needs to be a private.
And there's no way that you're ever going to get to their level of skill, because like you said, July, they've just been playing it for so long.
It's like trying to
and you can't train on anything. You can only train on the AI.
That's what makes
not going to be true training.
No.
That's what stops me playing like
So it stops me playing a lot online.
I don't know. Yeah, but like we talked about Call of Duty today. I still love Call of Duty Zombies, and I still revisit it. But one of the reasons I don't find myself revisiting like the old multiplayers is because people have gotten so good at them that if I play them, I just get destroyed. Yeah. There's like no fun in it unless I play with friends.
If they aren't good, they're hacking. And if they're too good, they're hacking as well.
Yeah,
it's all hackers and pros.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's literally all that's left. Yeah,
that's even obviously you could you two probably didn't experience this like I did, but growing up with Minecraft, it had a very fun sort of competitive scene. It devolved into the same thing. People that were really good at it and people that hacked, and it stopped being fun. Fine, you don't play it anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could probably set something up where we get a couple of like vetted volunteers from our audience or something, and then just do.
Yeah, if we need to fill it out. Like I think you can get AI to fill the roles, and I mean the AI in Jedi Outcast is like it's fine.
Yeah, it is.
It'll work enough.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to play against, I think.
Movie duels is the counterpart to movie battles, and it's all single player though, so no multiplayer, and it's really. It's
something I think about. I'll have a look. I am on a Discord server, and I've played a bit of a Legends version of like movie battles where they adapt certain battles from books and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's great because you can play as like you can, but it's a separate thing that does like all like you can play as Darth Krayt and you can play as Yuzhen Vong and stuff like that. Yeah, and both of them are really good to play. I know I talked to a developer for the other one that's I'm on the Discord server. I'll have to have a look. But there would be very good things to play, I think.
I used a lot of footage from movie duels for one of my Star Wars videos a while back. It's really good for that.
Yeah.
Nice. So level 14 is the third boss fight, More the Revenge. Now this guy gets S plus just for his FMV costume. S tier plus, just like that.
I really like
the corset is doing, like, no offense to the actor, but that corset was doing a lot of heavy lifting for him to resemble the muscled character model in game.
Yeah,
because he does not look like that character model.
No.
Yeah, I really liked it because for once you're not just in one like boring arena. You move from like place to place and it changes. Yeah, like the way it feels a lot more like a modern.
It's like a tiered boss fight.
Yeah,
and the place itself is so cool because it's like the long bridge, and you're like it feels like there's a sense of scale, and it ends with you fighting like on top of. It's such a cool. I also go S, definitely S tier. Maybe the best boss fight in the game.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. And Maul is
I'm gonna
cool
go A because
I like Ron's. Is it Ron? Yeah, I think it's Ron's like explanation of each of the bosses. And that one, he's like, he is so filled with hate. He holds his body. It's like Darth explaining Darth Sion.
Yeah.
It's like his hatred keeps him alive. I love that. That's easily S.
And his mask is hilarious.
I don't know why it took me so long. It took me stupidly long to figure out what the talking was at the beginning of those boss fights.
Really?
Like, way too long. Yeah, I was thinking like, who is talking?
That's right.
Like, what is he talking about?
No, I get that as well because I only figured it out about halfway through. Because like your father says, like, oh, he got this from a Jedi from Ron, but I don't think Ron ever introduces himself. He just like kind of pops up.
He does,
and you're meant to make that connection. I must have missed it. I must have missed like the actual bit where he introduces himself as Ron.
I probably did.
Yeah. I think it's between levels 2 and 3. But Kyle has a Force Vision dream, and that's when he goes.
That's why I forgot because I would have just
talks to him in a dream.
When I learned, I would have just forgot that name, being like, I don't know who this guy is. But you're right because it's when he gets killed by Jarek, and then I only clocked the name Ron when your dad gives it to you. So I've already forgotten about him previously.
Yeah. I think that it doesn't help the long gaps I had between playing sessions of this. I just totally forgot about that guy.
Yeah. Super cool.
Level 15, the Fallen Ship. I give this an S because it's just a very cool set piece.
I give it an A because it's annoying, but also cool. It's like fun and annoying at the same time.
It has so many different routes as well. Like, there's multiple different ways you can complete it, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I gave it B just because I think it was a bit too big.
S, A, and B.
Yeah.
For a crash, right? It's like the slowest, longest crash in the world, and there's so many routes to go. Like it's too big, I think, for what it's doing. Like it should have been a short, like a nice short level. I think
it is short because it's completable in 2 minutes.
It's pretty short. For one of these levels.
I took forever. I think you said there's multiple routes. I think would get.
Did you think you went back and then you went through like a few different routes?
I would get stuck and then go through another route.
Another one. Yeah. I guess that's the problem, is that there's not a fail state. I can't remember. Is there a fail state for like taking too long?
I think so.
I took forever. I took ages and it didn't fail. There was a point when I stopped feeling tension and I just sort of relaxed and just
that would hurt it. I never got that. Like for me, it took like 4 or 5 minutes like to rush through it, and I felt like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah, I got through it pretty quick too, so I didn't lose the tension of the moment like that. But it is an annoying level. I think it's simultaneously super cool and also a little bit annoying. But again, I keep saying this. For the time, it is a technological marvel what they pulled off with that level.
That's one of the few CGI cutscenes that actually looks like pretty good, because it's like the entire cutscene's fully CG and there's like no people on it. I felt like when it breaks away from the cliff and everything, I thought that looked pretty cool.
And the moldy crow flying away is really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So level 16. That is now on Saris.
I really liked this one.
Saris, that's another boss battle, right?
Yeah, Sarah's boss
Yeah, I
battle.
really
I
liked
gave
it.
it B
I
slash
think
C. I
I
felt
give
it's
it
like, well, for me, it was one of the weaker boss
it was
battles.
an A for me. It was
A
an
for
A for
me.
me. I just, and
Maybe I just defeated her too easy. I used
She's
force
I
protection and
defeated
it just
her.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
just
did
completely
again. I
knows
think
her skill.
I did my usual strategy and killed her really quickly. But I liked
Hmm.
the arena and I liked the environment and
Yeah.
I loved the cutscene. I loved the cutscene and I
Mm-hmm.
liked using the yellow lightsaber and I just thought that was fun. I
In
really
the
enjoyed
dark
it.
side ending, you actually face Yun again at this point.
Yeah,
If you
you're
get the
right.
dark side bit here, yeah.
Because Yen
So
was in
I
the
got
Force
that
save.
on one of my playthroughs like ages ago. But on this one, yeah, I fought Ceres. Level 17.
Well,
This
hang on.
is my
I want to back up because I want to say about Ceres. Ceres
Yep.
is actually the daughter of Lord Cronal, who is an
Oh, okay, that's the
enormous.
guy.
Lord Chrono.
Yeah, he is an enormous threat in a
Really?
lot of the books. So Ceres is his daughter, and he like abused her into the dark side before Jarrett came and found her and recruited her. And another thing, Cronal as a character is intimately tied into these games lore-wise because Gork and Pick were mutated
Wow.
on by Lord Cronal. So these games are like through that super connected because Cronal was in direct contact with Jarek throughout
Hey,
that
Jewel,
time.
Evan, I mean, you've got to read
Shadows
Luke
of Mindor.
Skywalker in the Shadows of Mindor.
I'm going to.
He is
I
the
want to.
main
I
villain.
know he is.
He's
I
so
haven't
good
read
in
it,
it.
but
He's
I'm
so
going
good
to.
in it. Yeah,
But
it's like a proper. Stover said that he likes like Timothy Zahn's like Star Wars, but he wanted to write a book that felt like it was before Timothy Zahn. So that's sort of the style he goes for, like 70s, 80s Star Wars. But he does it. He just it's so good. Honestly, it's a really good read.
so
Yeah, this looks good.
I mainly said that for your benefit, Gabriel, because I knew you'd know Cronal, and I was
Yeah,
wondering if that was going to
that is so
recontextualize
cool.
this game because Cronal is actually responsible for
Yeah.
helping Jarek set up his Jedi, his dark Jedi here.
It adds something more to the novel as well, Shadows of Mindor. A greater threat to Chronal. It gives him a bit of weight that I think I was missing on my first read.
Yeah.
I'd like to reread that now, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I would look
So-
into the lore on these characters too and see just how connected they are to.
Yeah, it's a shame that they sit in a game that is from an era before, like to put lore in a game at this point was like perverse. Like how dare you? Like I'm here to shoot things. Like
Most of this lore is
Yeah.
retroactive.
Yeah.
It was added in a lot of. They went and recontextualized Dark Forces 2. I think around 2002 with a bunch of like codex releases and like lore books that if you read them, be like, oh, that's what all of this is. But at the time of development, that wasn't.
Yeah,
the
there was
intention.
this was the era. If
There
there
was a
was lore, it
big-
was in the manual. It was never in the game.
Like
yeah,
how
there was a big what you're talking about, Evan. There was like a big EU like lore dump of like trying to recontextualize everything and make everything make
That's
sense
when
and
this
fit
happened.
together.
it was the
yeah.
time where they released that Jarek was a Miraluka, which didn't become.
They
a thing
were
until
so
Crypto
lucky
2.
that
I-
he
the-
never
I
shows his
think-
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you just look, and also he dresses similar to Visus, and like you just that's just a happy coincidence that he's clearly a Miraluka.
Yeah.
Yeah. Level 17 then. Valley Tower Ascent. I've got this for E because it was one of the ones I needed a guide for, and so I felt like a failure. And I rated for that reason. How dare it be hard?
I wouldn't rate that one super well either.
I gave it for some reason I gave it a C, but I don't actually think I had that much fun in it. I'm gonna change that to a D because I'm as I think about it, I think it just wasn't very fun. Like I didn't have a good time on it.
Continuing
Honestly,
the not
I'll be
fun,
honest, from-
it leads directly
Yeah.
into level 18, which is Descent into the Valley, which we kind of mentioned earlier. In that it's at this point I just felt like I've seen this before. Like I've played
Yeah.
these levels
Oh,
already.
and
It's
this
a lot
is
of more the same.
another one.
Descent is
Yeah.
worse.
This is another one.
Hmm.
I spent a long time having no clue where to go, and it's one
It's another
sometimes
weirdly
in some
puzzled one.
yeah in some of these other levels, you know, I talk about all the time in these that I don't know where to go, but I'll watch a video and I'll think, oh, that's stupid of me. This is one where I think, no, that's stupid of the game. Like, what on earth were
Yeah.
you thinking
It is
doing that?
incredibly obtuse. The only I would give it I'm giving it a C. The only reason it's not lower is because there's one or two like cool little sequences that I liked, and it's really fun to fight stormtroopers.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like the other levels suck, and you're just killing like thugs. But fighting the Empire, it's just fun.
That is the highlight of this ending section, is that it is like fighting the Empire bit. You're right that it has just been like Gnashed off thugs copy paste up until this point.
It just makes it more fun when I get to kill stormtroopers. All right, so it's gonna be higher because I'm fighting the Empire, and that's more fun. But otherwise, it is as obtuse as some of the worst levels in the game. So I don't blame you for putting it low.
It's just the go from KOTOR 1 and 2 with like how cool Korriban was to then see like, oh, this is the Jedi temple, and then I'm just like, where's the temple? It just sucks. Like there's just no temple.
There's like a 5-minute string. Is it at the end of this level, or is it that the next level where there's like
I think it's level 19, the Valley of the Jedi, which I rate higher because it does look like what I expected. So it gets a little bit of a higher rating. I give that a C/B.
It makes no
honestly,
sense.
I've given Valley of the Jedi. I've given Valley of the Jedi an E, I think, because I really didn't like that level. I think you know my problem, right? I said about all corridors and everything looking the same. Think about it. Valley of the Jedi is just the same, but with different textures. I mean, it's exactly the same. And you know what really annoyed me? That whole puzzle of pressing that like tablet to move the thing. That was stupid. Oh my! Because then you think you've solved it, and you go up there, and then there's another one in the way, but it's the same one. You have to press them. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It got me
puzzle, though.
That is classic game puzzles.
That got me the most annoyed. Like, you know what this makes me think? I say this a lot. If I grew up in the 90s, I wouldn't have been a gamer because stuff like this would have turned me off games, and I would never be. I wouldn't have been a gamer. Like I would have.
You joke, but games. Honestly, like Myst has a lot to pay for because Myst was one of those games that transcended like gamers, and it became like everyone in the casual area like knew about Myst. It was massive. But if your only access to gaming was Myst, you'd think, damn. Games fucking suck because you're just kind of you're just solving a slideshow for like 3 hours, and you're like, that is too hard. I think
it amazes me that I was bringing up when I talk about games history because I always think it's interesting. My mum played games in the 90s, and she was never that good at. Yeah, she was never that good at them, but now she plays games all the time, like every day. She loves them, and she's quite decent at them too. It makes me think, how on earth did she like games when they were so difficult and she wasn't good at them? I think it's a novelty of I joke.
It was a novelty
of the
tech. Like my dad loved Rebel Assault too. He knew cheat codes on how to progress it because he could never get past the first level. I mean, I can't get past the first.
It's the Falcon
without like a cheat code. Really need. Yeah, the Falcon level. Yeah,
because it is not finished. It's not a finished level. The Falcon hits things when it shouldn't. It sucks.
You just hit everything. The Falcon's too wide for the level.
It literally
doesn't make sense.
The game is not finished.
But like, I think the tech was always more interesting for my dad playing games like that. Like he loved like Lion King, but I have no memory of getting past like the second or third level of Lion King on the
Isn't
the
that
PC.
like notoriously hard though?
Oh yeah, I mean I did a video like a unlisted video on my channel. I also could not get past level 4, and I was so happy I got to level 4 because in my memory I never got past level 3. So when I got to level 4, I was like, oh my god, new gameplay, and then it was also the hardest. I think that was just like the next hardest thing ever, and I was like, it's just not
that also
a long time ago as well. I mean.
They get into the new level that looked different.
That's why Dark Souls is so popular. Like I don't play Dark Souls because it's such a frustrating mess of a game to try to get through. But the reward is that it's so hard.
But at least that has a save system. You're not like, okay, turn the game off. Now I got to do those first 3 levels again to get to that place.
I think there's a sort of culture of gaming that's disappeared, and I think it disappears as you get older as well. And this is what I would say. For example, I one of the things I think is I grew up with Minecraft, so I like Minecraft. But what I often say is I think if I didn't grow up with Minecraft, I wouldn't like it because you don't get taught anything. You have to either figure it out or look it up. So you spend most of the game looking up how to do things. And I feel like when you're younger, you're much more willing to pick
Minecraft
up a game
now
again
is
and again
too
and again
bloated
and again.
as well for like a 4-year-old. Like Minecraft when it started back in like alpha beta was
so
like
simple,
was so simple.
Should have never changed. I think it should have stayed where it was. But that sort of like when you're a kid, you wouldn't put up with that. But when I am, now I can't be asked. I can't bother. Like give a game that I have to work to understand that fundamentally, if I'm spending the entire time trying to figure out how to do anything, I'll never play it. Like again, Minecraft, I just know what to do. But if I came to it now and okay, I mine wood, well, what the hell do I do with that? How am I going to know to place it here and there? And the whole game is like that, and crafting recipes and all sorts. Like, I think we had, and especially I think along, like further in the past as well. I feel like people are more willing to. You know, we have like games like Fortnite and current attention spans and stuff. People are even less willing to learn and to go through hard things in games. Because, like, you know, I never used to be somebody that liked difficult games. I will credit Jedi Fallen Order for breaking that with me. That was the first game I played that was difficult, and I got rewarded. And it's opened up so many other games for me, like Resident Evil, which is difficult, but it's rewarding. I never used to like that sort of thing. And I think it's a problem with modern gamers because we're treated to games that are just trying to please you all the time. Again, to bring up
money out of you.
Call of Duty... Yeah, but to bring up Call of Duty again, me and Julia and Evan a little bit were talking about Call of Duty Zombies and how one of the ways it has gotten worse is they're actually actively trying to make it an easy and fun experience for the player. And the reason Call of Duty Zombies used to be so good is Jason Blundell said this in an interview recently, which I thought was so good, who directed many maps. He said that they were basically trying to say fuck you to the player anytime they could. Because they wanted to kill you at every single moment and piss you off all the time. Sometimes that is good, isn't it? Sometimes that's enjoyable. Yeah. But I feel like that gets lost more and more as time goes on.
Well, gaming in general has become hyper sterilized. It's funny you say you wouldn't have been a gamer if you'd grown up back, because I've said multiple times I don't think I'd be a gamer if I grew up in modern times, because the thing that appealed to me so much about older games is how it was kind of Wild West. Like everything was so extreme and edgy and weird and interesting. Like I was a lot more interested in video games than most movies or shows, not because they're interactive, but because you didn't see anything like Halo or Doom 3 in other environments. But modern games have lost that Wild West kind of, we're just trying to figure out what kind of weird, crazy thing we can do next. And it's all variations and iterations of other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think I grew up, you know, sort of in the last, from what I would consider, maybe it's just, you know, because I grew up in it, but one of the last great, like, eras of the gaming for me. Like, I love the period I grew up and then a little bit later.
When was yours, like,
really
mid-2000s to, like, 2010s, was it?
I'll say I was born 2006, but I was playing games like straight away, like
making me feel old, man.
Like
Jesus Christ! You know, I was like, I thought you started playing games like 2008, but like that doesn't line up. Oh God.
Well, no, I did actually, but
I forget there's such a massive age gap.
It's
a thing that
you have interests of somebody who was born in like 1998. You're reading books from like my time.
Yep.
I think it's just the way, like I said, you know, I don't know what it was, but according to my parents, you know, like I was watching things and playing things like straight away. Like it had already captured my attention like immediately.
Maybe you were playing games in 2008 then.
Yeah.
No, I
2 years old.
Yeah.
At 2 years old, I would have been playing games. Yeah, I know. Yeah, when I was a few years old, I had a laptop. When I was like 3-4 years old, I got a laptop that I played games on. And I was already like, I started making YouTube videos when I was like a toddler, basically, because I was watching them and I was really into them. So I was onto stuff very early. The same way, like, you know, I played GTA 5 not long after release, even though I was like
this guy was born the year the Xbox 360 came out, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But that shows how versatile the 360 was, though, because I was growing up and the 360 was the console. You know, that was like the console that everyone had.
I mean, like the PS1 was that for me, and like Evan as well. That was that that era. Yeah. So I guess the 360 was your PS1.
Yeah.
It's not a bad first console to have. I mean, that was like, I mean, many people would probably agree that was the last good like run of consoles before it kind of like goes on the downwards.
I would say the gaming industry peaked from PS2 to 360 era.
Yeah, I would say the peak starts with PS2. Yeah.
For me, growing up, the consoles that everyone had and I loved, that I always think of when I think of consoles, are the 360 and the Wii. And the Wii mainly just because everyone had the Wii. Like that was just the thing. Like not even talking about how good the Wii was. You went to somebody's house, they had the Wii. Everybody had the Wii. Everybody played it. Yeah. Everybody played it. We all had something to share on.
Yeah,
it was something special. Like,
I had Modern Warfare
everyone
on the
I
Wii.
knew.
Let's
just
go.
for the
Did you? I have, you know, I have
because
played.
it was funny to laugh at. It looks so bad.
I have played Black Ops 1 on the Wii.
I
It's
forgot Black Ops
so
got a Wii
funny.
port. That's insane.
Yeah.
But Black Ops
Yeah.
1 came
It
out.
looks-
on
And you
it looks
should see
hilarious.
you should see the Black Ops 3 port to the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Oh
It is
my
like
God,
the
yeah.
worst port
The
of
DLC,
all time.
the
It is-
DLC is the worst. The DLC got it was outsourced to like a Chinese company. So they didn't even finish it. Like it was like a completely unfinished like DLC.
That was it. They did 4, for example, for zombies, they did 4 DLC maps. They made the first one and quit. They never made any more.
It
on the
was
360
it was
PS3.
so badly made they just cancelled
Yeah.
them for PS3 and for Xbox.
Dang.
It was the last one it was the last time they did a last gen game. So
1v1
Yeah.
on Wii Rust. I can't even play the fucking Wii. I have like maybe 10 congruent
It was
hours on
hard,
Wii in
like-
my whole life.
The
It was
Wii Modern
difficult.
Warfare was really difficult. There were people were
But
like
what's
absolute
crazy-
demons online. Like I don't
You
know
know
how
the,
they got so
They
good.
were,
at
you
it.
know what it
the
was?
Wii? They're like,
The Wii
yeah, like literally
No,
that's
but
how they
it's
were
the-
playing it.
fuck's sake.
motion controls. Motion controls is one of those things where it's so difficult, but people that are good at it are
I'm really
insanely
good at
good
it.
at it.
There's this thing
Yeah,
where people say
and,
they love gyro, and I can't get it. Like, give me a right
Yeah.
thumbstick or a mouse any day. But some people just love like
Yeah.
moving their controller around to aim.
I hate
Those
There
are
are-
the,
there
those
are
were the
people-
kids who are good at Wii. That's what I'm holding. People, if you
Yeah.
like gyro,
Yeah,
you are one of those Wii kids for sure.
Get that
there
outta
are
here.
people that play games like Call of Duty with gyro and are just as good as like a
Oh,
mouse
yeah.
and keyboard player. Yeah, and because
They've done tests
the
where they're sometimes
accuracy-
faster. Like they sometimes
Yeah,
like
the
can zap
accuracy
on the
is
people
insane.
faster. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the wrist control. Well,
How
the,
on
val-
earth?
the,
I could never do that.
Yeah, let's
I
get
know.
back
The
on
Valley
track
of the
here.
Jedi was
Yeah,
such a
Valley of the
boring
Jedi,
level
yeah.
that we completely stopped
I
talking
hated
about the
it.
game.
Well,
Yeah.
there was one thing I was going to note about the Valley of the Jedi, which is that there's Kell dragons down there, which makes no sense. How did they get down there?
No.
And there's also an ATST down there, which makes no sense because how did it get there?
Cool, isn't it? That's like the reason.
yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
cool if there was an ATST down here. Let's put one there. So level 20, this is like the pre-boss fight of the main boss fight. We got Bok, the Crude.
Hell yeah. What is
I
it?
got
Ron
it
says
was
he's
cool.
like a wicked creature
they-
or some sadistic or whatever. I thought it was cool that he had dual purple lightsabers, right? And then he jumped around.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because I think that might be the first example of dual wielding we
Yeah.
ever saw.
He is one of the few
Yeah.
that actually uses 2 lightsabers in battle.
Mm-hmm.
wild.
And I think you're right, they are purple as well. This is before prequels
Yeah, they
as
are.
well.
And his main strat is
One
just
of
to
the
jump as
early
much as
characters.
possible.
Yeah, he actually has Jedi Outcast AI. Yeah. he used
he
the
does.
beta implementation. Yeah.
Surely, is he like, would you say he's like one of the like second or third purple lightsaber characters? I know Jaina in Young Jedi Knights was the first. That was the first that they had a purple lightsaber in anything. But he's definitely one of the earliest as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sure on the timeline.
I don't know any lore about his character. I think he was tortured, and I think he
I
may have
had
been
B.
sold to Jarek by.
He is just
what did you say?
funny as fuck.
Yeah,
he is, yeah.
C probably because it's
C,
an
yeah.
uninteresting square room, and all he does is jump repeatedly, and it's just not. It's not great. It's not fun.
Yeah. Just self-see,
Fair.
I'd say.
And then Jarek. Level
Probably-
name, The Force Within. This is level 21.
Probably D.
Yeah,
I
this,
hated this mission. It's very
I
I put,
had D/C.
it's very lame.
I
It's not
put
fun.
C. My only note was no different to the rest of the game. It's just like there's nothing special about it. It's a final boss and there's nothing interesting.
The
at
the
all
Moore boss
done.
was more final boss like than this was.
Yeah, and the dumb
Almost any of
mechanic.
them.
He has like infinite HP unless you do like some obtuse thing with the statues.
And it looks so weird
Yeah,
as well. Like
I-
he just he runs into the cord and he goes into meditation like mid battle.
yeah,
Like how does that make sense?
it's
Like he just
stupid.
crosses his
It's-
legs like yeah, let me chill, bro.
it feels like they
Yeah,
were
it's
trying to
stupid.
integrate something and then stopped trying halfway through and just gave us what they had. Like it feels
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the
it's
level.
It's actually it's reminiscent of the final boss fight from KOTOR in that regard.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's actually a very similar mechanic as well. Like you have to go destroy the certain things around the room to stop him healing.
Yeah,
like-
I would rather any day a boss with high health than a boss that heals repeatedly over and over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least you know you're chipping away at the health when they have loads of health, but when they just heal over and over and over, it's just so annoying. You never know if you're anywhere near the end. And I feel like it gives you more reason to stop, because when nothing's happening and there's no sign of progress, you might just think, okay, I'll just come back to it. Like, I'll just, I'll do it later.
It's just not, that's why I said D tier, because it's not fun. And it took me like 45 minutes to like piece together what the hell I was supposed to do. And then doing it's really annoying. The best part about it is the ending cutscene, which isn't even a part of the level. So yeah, D tier. Jarek is a cool villain.
I just
cool
thought it was a very
terrible boss battle.
Yeah. It was I think a very disappointing end to the game. Generally, like it was just like, like who I don't really care.
Yeah, I was glad that the cutscene almost, for me, made up for the gameplay. Like the gameplay leaves a bad taste, but the cutscene like elevates that to be like, okay, I was satisfied with the ending.
I will say the fact that they loopholed Kyle to be able to kill Jarek without being a bad guy, because he like gives him back his saber. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Because he's like, technically it was self-defense. It's like you goaded him into it, though. You didn't.
You know what that was? You know what that was? That's my big criticism of Batman Begins, when he says, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Well, you just killed him. You just killed him by doing that. So it's just the exact same thing.
One could argue letting someone die is not quite the same as actively taking their life, but they play it like it's the same as Goku like sparing Frieza, but it's not, because he's like, I really want you to let me kill you,
What they should have done is had that ending play as it does, and then just tack on the dark side ending straight after to be like, that was such a dark thing he's done that he becomes emperor straight away.
It just,
to me, if you have the ability to save someone and don't, it's not killing, but it's nearly as bad. Like if it's easy to save someone and you can do it, and you choose not to, you make the conscious decision not to kill someone.
To me, they got away with it because Catan isn't like a goody two shoes
like
Jedi.
He's
more,
already...
he's more of a hand character.
It would have been more interesting if instead of like
Kyle would shoot first. Kyle would always shoot first.
Yeah,
but that's why I think they should have just had him kill Jarek.
Exactly.
They should have just had him like standing there, and Jarek's like goading him, and Kyle could have just said something as like, "I'm gonna kill you, but not for revenge," or something like that. But I don't see Kyle.
I would have
or commit to him like turning his lightsaber off and walking away.
I think they should have. What I would have done is have him kill him, and it wouldn't be a light side thing. That wouldn't necessarily make him an evil guy. That opens the possibility for an arc in the next game. Of him facing, should I have done that? And then that because light side ending, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a purely good light side like conclusion to the game. Like he could have still done something a little bit bad.
And also, Jarek is actively like a bad person, and if he's allowed to live, he's going to like kill a bunch more people. So the fact that he's like, when he sits there, he's like, I'm unarmed, kill me, fall to the dark side. It's the equivalent of, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? It's like I would if the guy with glasses was a tyrannizing megalomaniac mass murderer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a little silly that they had to be like, but he killed in self-defense. He went there to kill Jarek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying that like Kyle fell for that shtick, because that's such a dark side shtick to do as well, being like, oh, you can't kill me, you're gonna fall to the dark side. Like that's what a villain should say. But then Kyle should be like, nah, you're dumb, and then kill him.
He's like, I've killed a lot
but
of people.
A bit more verbose to that, It would, a bit more well written. But the same, yeah.
Very, very silly little
principle.
thing that a lot of media. Kyle was going there to stop Jarek from finding the valley. Like, how is he going to stop him? Is he going to put him in prison? He's a dark Jedi. Who's going to hold him? You literally, there's no other choice. But he's like, kill me so I can say I did it in self-defense. This comment says, kind of hate how every Star Wars thing had to have the villain going, kill me now and fall to the dark side. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's just, I don't know.
Do you think Jarek would like Spider-Man No Way Home him?
What do you mean?
At the end where he makes it look like Spider-Man killed him and like leaks it to like make it look worse than it was.
That's far from home. That's far from home.
Far from home. Sorry, yeah.
Mysterio.
Like
who would care?
I was about to say no one would care.
Yeah, true. Actually, yeah, no one would care.
And then Luke would come to him and say, "Did you do this?" And he would say, "No." And then he go, "Okay, yeah."
All
I
right,
know.
that's it.
Yeah,
He'd sense it, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
move on.
I think the
I
dark,
just think
dark side
own-
ending with
they should have owned.
Emperor Katarn is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have
Should've
just
made that
owned killing
canon.
him, because
Canon.
I think it depends on like the media franchise. Like, for example, the difference between something like The Walking Dead and Doctor Who is like, in Doctor Who, killing anyone for any reason is going to be portrayed as bad. In The Walking Dead, killing someone could be portrayed as good in a million reasons. I think Star Wars is one of those things where killing people is portrayed as a good thing because sometimes it needs to be done, sometimes it's better. I think it would have been perfectly fine to have him just kill him because it's for the better.
Could you imagine debating that Luke's actually evil because he didn't stop Vader from killing Palpatine? Like that's the debate we would be having.
don't
like,
do it.
That's a really
Yeah.
funny position to take. Actually,
Yeah, Luke
that's
should
what,
actually
what
stop
I mean
Vader
about
from
that,
doing
right?
that. Yeah,
What I mean about that is
That's
that's
the
what would happen in
equivalent.
Doctor Who. Like,
That
that's
is
what
the
would happen in
equivalent,
Doctor Who. The Doctor in Doctor Who would say, "No, don't kill Palpatine." Like that's the
Yeah.
type of position that story takes. That's not the position that Star Wars takes. So I don't think there was any need to make a big thing about, to come up with a good reason to kill Jarek. Just kill him because you need to.
people repeatedly bring up that Luke Skywalker killed like 1 million people on the Death Star. He also he directly
but they weren't named characters, so they don't actually count.
He directly kills like a dozen characters in the first act of Return of the Jedi. On the Jabba thing, he pulls out his lightsaber. He's like swiping people down. You don't see them get dismembered, but you actively see him like cutting people down and them dying. It's like Luke had a body count.
He
Dude.
forks chokes the bodyguard.
He does the Gamorrean guards.
It's like the first thing he does. Yeah.
I think as well,
Yeah.
people eliminate context then. Like, I always think when people talk about him blowing up the Death Star, like, what choice did they have? And then in Return of the Jedi, it's one of those things. It's like you don't often, like for example, when you're in war, and it's a me or you thing. When you come across someone, but when you come across someone in war and you've got a gun and they've got a gun, no one is going to judge you for killing that person
You
because
put your gun
there's
down
nothing
and
else
try
that
to
you can
convert them
do.
to the light side is what you do.
It would actually be a really good, be a really sick position to take, though, if they go to the other guy, you're going to fall to the dark side and kill me.
Are you gonna fall to the dark side and kill me? Is this your destiny? Shoot me down, and you're.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess we've gone 30 minutes farther than we normally do, so we'll wrap it
True.
up.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Dark Forces 2. Easily one of the greatest games ever made. Super cool. Has a lot of flaws, a lot of weaknesses, but overall it is still an incredible game. Very fun. It is the start of Kyle Katarn becoming one of the most iconic characters in video games. Easily. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the game, Jular?
I'd fairly agree with that. I mean, better than Dark Forces 1, but I would still say, other than Mysteries of the Sith,
We'll get to that.
I would say weaker, or maybe on par with Jedi Academy for me, because Jedi Academy is so short. Okay. I would actually put it below Jedi Outcast.
Interesting rating. I that's not how I actually put Jedi Academy ahead of all of them. That's my favorite one.
I could see that for the extra gameplay with like the multiplayer and that kind of stuff and what it offers. And I'm just thinking of like as a single player experience, I found Jedi Academy like very just like disappointing after Jedi Outcast, personally anyway.
I think that's a fair take to have.
Interesting.
All right, Gabriel, what do you think of Dark Forces 2?
I feel bad saying it because like I get the appeal and all the I didn't enjoy the gameplay. I just didn't have a fun time with it. Like, but the thing is, there was levels I enjoyed, and I think that you have to view things under the context. I know some people don't, but I think if you're going to assess anything, you need to understand the context. Which is why I'm not going to be like, oh shit, I hated it. No, because I did enjoy it, and there were loads of levels I liked, and I thought it looked great, and I enjoyed the story, especially those like live action cutscenes were so good. I loved them. It's just the gameplay loop. I just didn't enjoy the gameplay loop and the level design. I didn't enjoy either of them, and that took away a lot of the enjoyment for me. Compared to like, I don't know what the difference is. It's been a few years since I played it, but Jedi Academy for me was like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game. Like I absolutely loved Jedi Academy. Like the gameplay, gameplay insane. I loved the story even though it was simple. I had a great time with Jedi Academy. which is why it's like a million. It's very far ahead for me. And I think it's just because that gameplay loop, they perfected it. I feel like now they're introducing the elements that I will go on to really enjoy. So I think because of the way I played it, there's a little bit of myself that is just thinking, yeah, but it's not as good as Jedi Academy. Like when I'm using the lightsaber, I'm just thinking of all the things I could be doing in Jedi Academy. So
I should say that
would
Jedi
probably
Academy
give-
is still like a 7 to 8 for me. Like it's still like way up there. I just rate like all these games like very highly anyway.
I have a particular appeal of Jedi Academy, which is it feels like one of my greatest fantasies in a Star Wars game that no other game actually does, which is just to be a Jedi doing small Jedi quests. Whereas I recognize that Jedi Outcast has a tighter, better, more compelling story, I want to just do like Jedi tasks, you know? I want Hogwarts Legacy, but Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
It's better from like a role-playing perspective, which I guess is what they were going for with the custom character and that kind of stuff anyway.
I think
appeals specifically to me in that way.
Jedi Academy has a specific appeal to me because I love the lightsaber combat. It's incredible.
Some of the greatest.
And it's just so much fun. Yeah. And the big thing for me, though, I think it was literally just that, right? I'd gotten into Star Wars books. I read the Thrawn trilogy and I loved it. And then I read the Jedi Academy trilogy and I loved it. And then I went straight from Jedi Academy trilogy to the game Jedi Academy, which is set on the Praxium, on Yavin 4, at like the same time, a similar time period. It was exactly what I wanted. Like I was experiencing the books I had just been reading.
And Corran Horn is actually mentioned in Jedi Academy. You don't see him, but he's mentioned.
Insanely cool. Of course that appealed to me. Like that is like one of my, if not my favorite, like period. Like I love the Yuuzhan Vong War, but there's something really special about that period of Luke's Praxium and stuff like Young Jedi Knights. Like it just has this feeling to me that is so special. Yeah, and that game captured it, so I love it.
So Night Dive did a full remaster of the original Dark Forces. It's speculated they might do a remaster of Dark Forces 2, which obviously is day one for me.
Okay.
Would you consider getting a remaster of Dark Forces 2, either of you?
It's hard to say because the remaster mod was very good.
It was very good.
Maybe on sale is one of the like.
Maybe on sale.
Because then they sell the Dark Forces 1 is like $30-$40. Like
it was $30.
Yeah, okay. I mean, $30 isn't bad. I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends when it releases. If it releases 2 years from now, like possibly. But if it releases like later this year, it's almost too close to like this playthrough.
Yeah,
I'm just like it's hard to like be like a day one purchase.
Do you think you'd give it another shot, Gabe?
On sale after a few years.
Okay.
I would, because I am the king of I love to revisit everything over and over and over and over. And if I disliked something, every few years I'll give it another go because I think maybe I'll like it this time. So yeah, probably.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us this episode. That was Dark Forces 2. Next episode, do we typically say what we're doing next episode?
Not usually, but
not usually. No, we could do, yeah.
It'll be it's the novella, right? Next episode, we'll be covering the second book in the Young Jedi Knight series, Shadow Academy.
Shadow Academy.
Right, I might have it wrong, but we'll revisit the schedule. Yes. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate everybody, and we will see you. Well, I'll see you in the next live stream. But until then,
thanks for watching. Bye.